Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today between the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes, so let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Saturday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, one of the best center fielders in the game, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. And on the right, the best player in the American League, the guy that's going to win the AL MVP, Jordan Alvarez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at third base, Brendan Donovan. Batting second, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting third, DHing today for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Batting fifth, playing first base, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, playing second base, Cole Clutch Young. Batting seventh, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting eighth, playing right field, Victor Robles. And batting ninth, playing shortstop for the Mariners, Brock Rodden. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 6-7 record, ERA of 3.35, it is Emerson Hancock. And now let's get into the starting lineups for the home Houston Astros. Leading off for the Astros at shortstop, Jeremy Pena. Batting second, DHing for Houston, Jordan Alvarez. Batting third, playing third base, Isak Paredes. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, fielder, Dalton Varsho. Batting fifth, playing second base, Jose Altuve. Batting sixth, playing first base, Christian Walker. Batting seventh, playing left field, Taylor Trammell. Batting eighth, playing right field for the Astros, Cam Smith. And batting ninth, catching today for the Astros, Christian Vasquez. And on the mound for the Astros with a 2-0 record, ERA of 3.86, it is Hayden Wesneski. Try dance up. Let's go M's. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it. Bang. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners. 40 plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. He's retiring after this season, so we want to make sure he goes out with a bang. The one, the only, Rick Riz. We love you. Heartbreaking loss last night. Obviously, when you get down 5-2 and you're able to tie it up 5-5 and you end up getting a 2-run lead, most cases with Mooney coming up with a 2-run lead, we win 99% of the time. And again, once, every blue moon, then you're going to end up having a meltdown. And usually Mooney recently hasn't had too many. At the beginning of the year, he had quite a few. It definitely reminds me of the game against the Padres earlier in the year in San Diego. But for them to not only tie the game up, but to be able to get the big 3-run jack with Walker, and we end up giving up 5 runs in the 9th. No, the 10th. Heartbreaking. But again, we just got to be able to dust ourselves off, and we just got to get back to business. 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, and with decent pitching, it should give us a position to hopefully compete late in the game. Rolf in the building, what's good? Jace in the building, what's good? Dave in the building, Power Code in the building, let's go. Right ends up, let's go M's. Gotta bust out the moves early and often. And making his MLB debut last night, ground rule double for a big RBI to tie the game up 5-5, and coming up with some big plays. And again, we're still waiting on JP Crawford, but what a great start there for Brock Rodden. All day in the building. What's good? How are you? And again, we're going to have another afternoon game. Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow night will be the last game on Sunday. And again, every time we play Houston, it usually ends up being pretty entertaining. In the past, it was kind of a slugfest, and we were taking a lot of the punches, but in recent, years, we've been able to kind of counter and jab back and throw haymakers of our own. Hayden Wesneski on the mound here tonight. And Brandon Donovan is going to be leading off just like he did at the beginning of the year. First pitch to Donnie is high and inside. 1-0 count. Sinker missing there early. And we're going to need to have some patient at-bats here today. Let's go, Donnie. 1-0 pitch. And Donnie pops it up. Should be a routine play here into shallow right. And Cam Smith is there battling the sun, and that is 1 up and 1 down. And I would like to see Donnie work it in the count 4, 5, 6, rather than swinging at the first 2 pitches. Hopefully he'll be a little bit more patient moving forward. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch to Randy, fouls it off himself as it rolls behind the plate. 0-1 count. Randy Arozarena in the box. And on the mound for the Astros, 2-0 record, ERA of 3.86, Hayden Wesneski. Oh, 1 pitch. Randy with a slow dribbler, white to Wesneski. Throw to first. Little soft throw, but just in time. Down goes Arozarena, and that is 2 up and 2 down. Let him know all day. Yeah, not just a few home runs. He hit 3, and no one has ever done that in baseball before. So, again, when you end up having a, first game like that, that nobody's ever done before, pretty miraculous. Next up is Dominic Canzone. I mean, even hitting 1 home run, on your first pitch is amazing. But to be able to pair that up with 2 more after that, incredible. First pitch with that sweeper is high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away with that sweeper, 79 miles an hour missing. 2 balls and no strikes from Wesneski to Dominic Canzone. I mean, it's all over MLB. So if you check social media, there's highlights of all 3 homers, and pretty incredible. 2-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss with that sinker, 94 miles an hour, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Let's go, Dom. 2-1 pitch. Sinker, 95 miles an hour, high and away. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike from Wesneski to Dominic Canzone. I think the real question is how many of those baseballs did he get back? Because normally you want to be able to get your, first ball back. You're going to have to trade, usually some autographed stuff, but he might have been able to get that first ball back, but maybe not the second and third. We'll see. We'll have to read the news later tonight and obviously tomorrow morning as we get a strike looking right down the middle with that sweeper. 80 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Dominic Canzone. 3-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking with the changeup high and inside, and that is 3 up and 3 down for Hayden Wesneski. All right, let's go to the bottom of the first inning and see who's up next here for the Houston Astros. Leading off for the Astros at shortstop, Jeremy Pena. Batting second, the future American League MVP, Yordan Alvarez. And batting third, playing third base, Isaac Paredes. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 6-7 record, ERA of 3.35, Emerson Hancock. Him and Bryce Miller were much better at the beginning of the year, and they've kind of come back to earth, so to speak, within the last month and a half. And again, Miller was our 1. Earlier in the year, Hancock was our 2. Now Hancock's the 4, and Miller's the 5. But a lot can change between now and the end of the year. Try to end up. Let's go M's. 39 stubs to go to 24,600. Still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And let's look to see where we're at on the likes as we approach the bottom of the first inning. And we're at 29.71 to go. Lawrence in the building. What's good? I mean, anybody's, rookie card debut patch, is worth insane amount of money. And then, obviously that goes for debut patches in the NFL and the NBA and the NHL. I mean, if you're able to actually get one, through the redemption or you actually pull it, you could end up being a millionaire depending on, who it is and whatnot. So definitely a cool thing that they introduced, into baseball card packs with the redemption or pulling the card itself. First pitch to Jeremy Pena from Emerson Hancock. Sinker, 95 miles an hour. Low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Hancock on the mound. Jeremy Pena in the box. Carlos Correa still another month away from coming back and rejoining the team. But they still got enough pieces to be able to win games at this point. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike, looking right down the middle with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hancock to Jeremy Pena. 1-1 pitch, little dribbler up the middle. Cole Young is there, throw to Naylor, and that is 1 up and 1 down. And we haven't had too many reliable pieces this season, but this is definitely one of them, Cole Clutch Young. Next up, batting .323, 36 home runs, 88 ribbies, is going to easily win the AL MVP. No one's even close to matching him this season, Yordan Alvarez. And then obviously it'll be a two-bat battle between PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Shohei Ohtani. And I assume, Ohtani will end up winning based off his reputation, unless Peter Crow Armstrong can really start to pull away stat-wise. But if they're kind of dead even, realistically, it'll probably go to Ohtani again. 1-0 pitch, low and away. MLB leader in batting average, on base percentage, and slugging. And again, with no Aaron Judge to compete with, he definitely has been able to run away with it. 2-0 pitch, high and away. Cutter missing, 87 miles an hour. 3 balls and no strikes from Hancock to Yordan Alvarez. Let him know all day. 3-0 pitch. Low and away, and that ends up being a 4-pitch walk. Everything outside, and that's probably smart. If you throw down the middle, Yordan is going to hit a homer. So, again, I don't want to walk too many batters, as we go throughout the season. But, if you're going to go against Shohei Ohtani, Pete Crow Armstrong, and especially Yordan Alvarez this year, walking a guy like that once or twice a game, not a big deal. It's probably the smart move, whether it's intentional or if it ends up just being 4 balls. Next up is Isaac Paredes. First pitch with the sinker, 95 miles an hour in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Emerson Hancock on the mound and Isaac Paredes in the box. 0-1 pitch with a cutter, 87 miles an hour, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first. Yordan Alvarez with a 4-pitch walk moments ago with 1 out. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0 Mariners and Astros. 1-1 pitch, line drive into left, and it rolls to Randy Arozarena off a 4-hopper. And now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. We're definitely going to need a double play, it looks like here. Next up in the 4-hole, center fielder, the former Blue Jay, Dalton Varsho. And on deck in the 5-hole, second baseman, Jose Altuve. Let's go, Emerson. You got to settle down and settle in. Starting pitching, as far as, Gilbert, Kirby, and Wu prior to last night was pretty good. Hancock and Miller have been a little shaky. And then obviously we saw Kirby not look that good last night, which was a little shocking. But, again, long season. Things have not definitely gone our way, and we just got to hope that they can bring their best foot forward today. First pitch with the 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. Big swing and a miss right down the middle by Dalton Varsho, the former Toronto Blue Jay. 0-1 count. Bottom of the first inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. Need that slow dribbler up the middle for a double play if we can get it. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hancock to Varsho. Right hands up. Let's go, Ems. One pitch, low and at the knees, sinker 96 miles an hour, missing. 2 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 1 out. Hancock on the mound, Dalton Varsho in the box. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Emerson Hancock. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runners at first and second with 1 out. 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Astros. Two pitch, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Varsho, and the sun is glaring down right in the pitcher's eyes, as well as quite a few of the infielder and outfielder players. And I assume it'll be that way for at least an hour until the sun reshifts positions. 3-2 pitch and a line drive into left, and Randy Arozarena there for another ground ball. And now we got bases loaded with 1 out. Come on, Mariners. Last thing that we want is to be down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 here early. Next up is Jose Altuve on deck, the hero last night with the walk-off homer, Christian Walker. .242 average, 13 homers, and 35 ribbies for Altuve this season. Keeping them alive with hitting that ball that was out of the strike zone, just reaching the bat out there, and a little dribbler up the middle. Long throw, not in time, and a runner scores, and just like that, 1-0 Houston. Not a good start here for the Mariners here early on. Next up in the 6-hole, first baseman Christian Walker. On deck in the 7-hole, left fielder Taylor Trammell. Come on, Seattle. We don't want this game to get out of hand in the first inning. We're going to have a mound visit by Cal with Emerson Hancock, probably 2 batters too late, but better late than never. And it shows you how good, someone can be at the beginning of the year, and, how bad things can turn out later, even with no injuries in place. And, Miller and Hancock were amazing. They were our 1 and our 2. Now Hancock our 4 and Miller our 5, with Gilbert being our 1. And we'll have to see what Wu does in his next start. And if he plays well, he might leapfrog Kirby to go to 2, Kirby 3, Hancock 4, Miller 5. But, we got 5 studs. They obviously have had an issue with consistency besides Logan Gilbert. And hopefully we'll be able to find a way. And then obviously Cade Anderson's still killing it in the farm. And we'll see if we end up calling him up this season or if we wait until next year. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded with one out, and we desperately need a double play here, so that way we're only down 1-0. First pitch in there for a strike. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 0-1 count. It's more than just Cal Raleigh. It's the manager, it's the injuries, it's the bullpen being shitty. Cal Raleigh is only a part of the equation. I mean, even if Cal was playing great and had, let's say, 30-plus home runs right now, that doesn't necessarily mean we're in first place. It may have given us a few more wins, and maybe we would be at 500 right now rather than, being 9 games back, obviously from 500 and 6 games back in the division. But just because Cal Raleigh's having a rough season, that's not the full reason why the Mariners are playing the way that they are. It's all about consistency, starting pitching, bullpen, lack of hitting. And really the two main factors besides Cal is the injuries and the lack of hitting and a shitty bullpen. Those are really the main reasons. And a nice strike 3 call, big swing and a miss. Down goes Christian Walker, and we get lucky there as he ends up going around. And that is 2 away. Baseball, people have, rough years. Again, catchers aren't supposed to get 60 home runs. Normally catchers are going to get, if you're good, maybe 20 to 35. And he had a record-breaking year and everyone was, rolling. So it's not like if he was going to have a good season, he would have really any more than that, more than likely. So, and if you go back and look at his career, he usually is around that 20 to 35 home run kind of guy. And this is the first year that he's got hurt. So anytime a guy gets hurt multiple times, sometimes, it's hard to come back. And obviously he's in his own head as well mentally. So, anyone that's ever had depression or anxiety, it's not easy. You're not going to be able to climb out of that hole after just one day. Sometimes it takes a while, and you can definitely tell it's weighing on his shoulders, and it's not just him that's got issues. A lot of guys have underachieved this year. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and we get out of a big jam. Nice job there by Emerson Hancock with bases loaded and one out, getting back-to-back outs. Down goes Walker, down goes Trammell, and we're only down 1-0. Let's go. Nice job there by Emerson Hancock bailing us out from being down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. Now let's see if we can get on the board and match what Houston did there in the bottom of the first. Let's go to the top of the second inning, 1-0 Houston. Next up in the 4-hole, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Batting second in the 5-hole, first baseman, it's Josh Naylor. And batting third in the 6-hole, second baseman, Cole Clutch Young. Trident's up. Let's go M's. $39 subs to go to 24,600. They're looking for our first dono on our dono train to get going. And let's see where we're at on the likes, hopefully close to halfway as we approach the top of the second inning. And we're at 38.62 to go. Yeah, I mean, it really shows the people that actually watch the Mariners, or if someone's a casual watcher, or fair weather or bandwagon. Dan Wilson is a horrible manager with his lineups and doing the splits, and the piggyback wasn't really a success. Playing Ref Snyder and Joe over guys like Rayleigh and Canzone, that wasn't very smart, and his lineups are not very good from game in and game out. The bullpen has cost us 30, 40 games by playing terrible like last night. Starting pitching hasn't been as good as we thought. A lot of guys have been hurt this year, besides, Cole Young. And again, defense sometimes has been a liability. It's not like we've been stealing bags. We haven't been throwing guys out. The base running hasn't been very good. We got a lazy left fielder on ground balls that doesn't like to hustle. So, I mean, there's 8 to 10 different reasons, and just to blame it on Cal Raleigh is ridiculous. Obviously no one expected him to be this bad. There's no doubt about that. But it's far from being Cal's, sole fault. that the Mariners are bad. I mean, the lack of hitting and the lack of a good bullpen and a good manager is a bigger reason rather than just Cal Raleigh. And a nice hit there up the middle by Julio Rodriguez trying to get the party started. Great job there by J-Rod. But again, it's either you're a fanatic and you're watching every game and you understand what the real reason is, why this team is struggling, or you may just be looking on Instagram, Facebook, and X and just, occasionally watching this team and not really knowing the real reason why we're not playing well. First pitch in there to Josh Naylor, takes a strike looking with the changeup, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Josh Naylor. Let's go, Nails. 0-2 pitch and a line drive up the middle. Here we go. Nice job by Josh Naylor. Julio hustling the third and safe. Let's go. Nice job there by Julio and Josh Naylor back to back. And again, if you remember at the beginning of the year, we were the worst hitting team in baseball. So, batting 180, 188, as a team, and we've been able to get it in the 230s, 240s, but that's still not even good enough. So, a lot of things. And, it's really hard to get starting pitching, bullpen, hitting, and defense all to play well in one game. It feels like for the Mariners, it's usually only 1 or 2 of those categories. And the pitcher drops the ball. Yes! Julio scores. Let's go. Wesneski tries to make the play, and he falls down. And just like that, Julio Rodriguez scores, and we tie the game up. Let's go. Let's go. Cole Clutch Young doing Cole Clutch Young things. And again, Cole ended up going 0 for 6. Normally doesn't go 0 for 5, 0 for 6 often. And Young finding a way to hustle the first base. Great job there, bringing home Julio Rodriguez. And just like that, back-to-back hits, which we haven't seen in a minute, by Julio, Josh Naylor, and Cole Clutch Young. Great job, Mariners. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. First pitch to Cal, popped up, and out of play. For me, I'd rather root for a guy that's actually trying but struggling, rather than a guy that might be a good hitter but, is lazy, and doesn't want to hustle the first base and, doesn't want to hustle on ground balls and left. So, again, everyone's going to have their own opinion, on certain players on the team. But for me, Cal is much easier to root for, and again, you can definitely tell the people that are turning on him, it's not like Cal's had 5 bad years in a row. This is the first year he's gotten hurt, and this is the first year he's had a bad season. Go back and look at his career since 2022. He's been good. He's been one of the best catchers in the league, and all of a sudden you go from having a record-breaking year and then a bad year, and then you see all these people turning their back on him. That's shameful. 1-1 pitch, in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wesneski to big dumper Cal Raleigh, and again, it's not just the physical part. You have to remember, baseball is very mental, and once you get yourself into a hole, 0 for 10, 0 for 20, 0 for 30, it definitely gets you. It wears on you. And again, it probably wears on, baseball players more than it does an NBA player that goes 0 for 10 or 0 for 20 from the field, or someone that ends up, dropping passes in the NFL, or someone that's giving up a bunch of goals as goalie. Baseball, it's definitely very mental, and it sometimes is hard to get out of that slump. And Cal's been in that slump all year. 1-2 pitch, takes a little shallow swing, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 8-hole, right fielder, Victor Robles. But again, he can still end up trying to be, a leader and try to be a good defender at catcher, and even with Cal being as bad as he has been in the box, I'd rather have him than Mitch Garver. And obviously we know Johnny Pareda was a good hitter at the beginning of the year, but really hasn't shown the consistency lately, has been struggling a little bit there. And, I'm glad that we have, Cal and obviously Pareda as the backup, but, Just got to be able to see what happens next season, and hopefully he turns it around. Next up is Victor Robles. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, sinker 95 miles an hour, hit behind the plate and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Victor Robles, who had one of the best games in 2026 last night. Same thing with Brock Rodden. It was just a damn shame that Mooney, with a 2-run lead in the 10th, couldn't get the job done. And, normally when we end up having a lead late in a game in the 9th or the 10th, we win, especially if it's a 2-run lead. So, and Robles, yes, they dive for it and miss. Go, go, go. Run, Josh, run. And we should be able to score a run here. Let's go. And Naylor is safe. Woo. And yes, 2 runs. Woo. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Not only do we get 1 run, Naylor, we get Cole Clutch Young. And again, when you get back-to-back runners, that's exactly what happens when the ball goes to Randy. Not only do the first run scores, but that second runner, and we get him to score. And just like that, 3-1 Mariners. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And again, it's very hard. And Robles is safe. It's hard to be able to get that second runner, especially if they're kind of next to each other. And Young almost slides into Naylor, and you don't want Naylor to get hurt as he goes through his legs. And obviously Naylor probably thought there's no way Cole's going for it. And again, great base running by the Mariners. And normally that's not the case. A lot of times we're not good at base running, and we get caught in between the base paths, leaning a little bit too much to second or third. And a great job early on after they score first. And then we respond back with a couple uppercuts and haymakers of our own. Next up is Brock Rodden. Let's go, Brock. And again, we haven't seen too many Mariner players do what he did. And again, when you can end up being productive, and getting hits and RBIs or home runs, obviously can really help the team win and have confidence in you while we wait for JP Crawford to come back. And he's already shown he's better than Leo Ribas. And again, if he can pick up the defense a little bit, we'll see. Maybe he'll end up playing that position the rest of the year, even over JP Crawford. We'll have to kind of, it all really depends on how well Brock does until JP comes back in a couple days. But we can still fill in JP here and there, whether it's at shortstop, third, or DH if they need to. 2-1 pitch, in there for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Rodden. And again, with JP in the lineup, 5-6 games above 500. With JP out of the lineup, 10 to 15 games below 500. So JP Crawford with that patient at bat definitely helps us win, even though he has had issues defensively at shortstop and third this year. But he definitely brings the good vibes only, to the Mariners. 2-2 pitch from Wesneski to Rodden. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Brock, and that is 2 away. Sean in the building. What's good? And down goes Brock. Next up is Brandon Donovan, and we do have Victor Robles at third. Let's see if we can get an RBI single to make it 4-1 Mariners. And again, that's why these, matchups are so sexy and fun. Yeah, it's like, this is our number 1 rival for many, many years, but now it's probably our number 2, considering Houston really doesn't try to throw at our head and injure us like Detroit does. They obviously have the former manager that won the World Series with Houston with the garbage can scandal, obviously on Detroit. And then they also have Framber Valdez, which we already know as one of the dirtiest pitchers in the game. So, definitely Houston will not ever be outside the top 2. But I think right now, Tigers is number 1, Houston number 2, as far as public enemy, for the Mariners in the rivalry. But the matchups always end up being fantastic, typically between the Mariners and the Astros. 0-2 pitch to Donnie. High and away. Good take with a 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at third, Victor Robles, and 2 outs. Trident's up. Let's go, Elms. Love the base running by Cole Young, and I'm happy that he didn't slide into Naylor's legs and injure him. But that took a lot of balls, to do that. And that could be the reason that we win this game, getting that additional run. And I'm still a little shocked with Mooney with a 2-run lead. Couldn't get the job done because, again, in the past, 99% of the time with a 2-run lead, Mooney gets the save. But yesterday was one of those, moments where he blew it. and gave up 5. And again, Houston with the miraculous comeback after we came back 5-2, then took a 7-5 lead after tying it up 5-5, and then they end up winning 10-7. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Brandon Donovan. Try dance up. Let's go, Ems. Come on, Donnie. 2-2 pitch. And that's popped up and out of play. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Hayden Wesneski. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With a runner at third, Victor Robles with 2 outs. And again, it's nice to be able to see when one team scores where the Mariners can strike back immediately, or if we score first, a lot of times the other team would score immediately on us. So nice to be able to kind of return the favor, so to speak. 2-2 pitch, little dribbler up the middle. Yes, let's go. Donnie gets it to squeak through, and Robles scores. 4-1 Mariners. Woo! Brandon Donovan, clean shaven and all. Victor Robles playing great since we've put him back into the lineup, playing center field yesterday for Julio DHing, and now in right field. Let's go, baby. And again, we were really concerned. How are we going to respond after one of the most devastating losses of the season last night? When I ended up taking Paisley for that, it wasn't the victory walk, that I was looking for. And, you just can't feel sorry for yourself. We already know how the season has gone. You just got to dust yourself off and hope that you can bring it, the next day, especially going against a rival like Houston. And again, look at that, 4-1 M's. And that's exactly what we need. Even though we're 6 games back, 9 games below 500, we just got to take it one game at a time. Great job by the Mariners, showing that they're still fighting and they're still gritty and they're scrappy and they're still going to go after it. First pitch, big swing and a miss to Randy Arozarena on 1 count. And after a loss like yesterday, we've also seen the Mariners put up a 0 or 1 run 2 or 3 games afterwards. So to be able to throw up a 4 within the first 2 innings, it's pretty miraculous if you really think about it, but it shows the talent that we truly have. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Sweeper, 83 miles an hour there by Wesneski to Randy Arozarena. And again, we just got to try to win as many series as possible. We can't get swept too often in August. Again, there's going to be times where we get swept or only win 1 out of 3. But again, we're going to have to overachieve and try to be able to sweep somebody. But again, 2 out of 3, against a lot of these teams is kind of the goal, which is going to be a hefty goal. Astros after getting beat up by the Yankees and the Rays, and then we got the Phillies and the Cubs and the Brewers, who are all fantastic playoff teams, and then the Red Sox, who have been hot but have hit a little bit of a wall, and then the Toronto Blue Jays, who may not be a playoff team, but they play us tough usually when we play them. 2-2 pitch is going to be incoming here in 1 moment. Top of the second inning, 4-1 Seattle. 2-2 pitch from Wesneski, and Arozarena with a dribbler towards third base and out of play. Sweeper, 82 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first with 2 outs. And again, I was kind of praying that something like this would happen after a terrible loss last night, and I didn't expect 4, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Big swing and a miss, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, high and inside, but not after the Mariners put up a big 4-run spot. And again, just like the Astros did against us, we kind of returned the favor. But again, this game is far from being over. But again, it's nice to be able to see a 4 next to the Mariners scoreboard here early on. Try to dance up. Let's go, Ems. Let's see who's up next here as we go to the bottom of the second. Next up for the Astros in the 8-hole, right fielder Cam Smith. Batting second in the 9-hole, catcher Christian Vasquez. And batting third, back at the top of the order, shortstop, 0 for 1, Jeremy Pena. Try dance up. Let's go, Ems. 39 subs to go to 24,600. Still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Looks like we gained a sub or two since the commercial break. Appreciate you. 48 subs to go to 24,600. Shout out to our new subs, our regulars, our mods, our female audience, as well as everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Still looking for our first dono on our dono train to get us going. And with a 4-1 lead, I imagine we'll be able to get some support here today, just like we do every day. And then let's see where we're at on the likes. We're at 52, more than halfway, and 48 to go. Yeah, well, that's Mooney's kind of go-to pitch. And I was actually going back and looking at the pitch graph last night and this morning. A lot of the hits that the Astros got were not strikes. You know, this is just Mooney pitching low and away. And then they were just kind of, sticking the bat out there like Altuve's hit and just trying to get contact. And again, a lot of times the batters, don't do that. They just let it be a ball, So again, you got to give Houston credit. They were swinging at pitches outside the strike zone, and they were able to win the game. And a lot of times, teams will win the game that way against Mooney because it ends up being ball 4, or he ends up hitting a guy, So you got to give him credit. They were hitting outside the strike zone. Rodden back to Josh Naylor on a hit up the middle by Cam Smith, toe tap on the bag, and that is one away. And again, a lot of times, when Mooney is on, the slider is on. But at the beginning of the year, his grip on the slider wasn't, and he was in his own head, mentally, just like Cal Raleigh. They were in not a very good headspace, and they lost confidence in themselves. You could tell. But again, you just got to give Houston credit last night. They pulled off the miraculous comeback. We were down 5-2. We tied it up 5-5. We felt pretty good about ourselves. Then we go up 7-5. We feel real good. And I don't think anyone anticipated Mooney giving up 5. And again, it kind of reminded me of that Padre game at the beginning of the year where you had the same thing happen, with Mooney and Ferrer, where they gave up 4 or 5 runs in the 9th or 10th, and then we lost that game as well. So, but luckily it only happens a couple times a year where we give up 4 or 5 runs, at the end of the game. 1-0 count from Hancock to Vasquez. 1-0 pitch, 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, halfway. 2 balls and no strikes from Hancock to Vasquez. Right hand stop, let's go M's. Jesse in the building, what's good? 2-0 pitch. And Vasquez pops up and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Vasquez. Let's go, baby. We got the bobblehead representing Griffey. We got the mini Mariner bat. We got the trident. All the good luck charms to help us win. 2-1 pitch. Pitch is inside with a sinker, 96 miles an hour. 3 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Vasquez. And again, Hancock got himself into a real big jam. Bases loaded with 1 out, and we could easily be down 4-1 right now. So to have them only score 1 run with bases loaded and 1 out was huge. Hard hit ball, deep left field, back, gone! And Vasquez in the 9-hole hitting a solo dinger on Emerson Hancock. Could be worse. Could have been a 2-run jack or a 3-run bomb. And now the game is 4-2 Seattle. Definitely feels like this is going to be a high-scoring game like yesterday. Big home run there by Christian Vasquez. And if you get home runs out of your 9-hole, the day is usually going to be pretty good. And that's not just for the Astros. That's for any team, including the Mariners. Big home run as he does his best impersonation of John Cena right here. 4-2 Seattle. Next up, shortstop Jeremy Pena on deck. The future American League MVP from this season, Yordan Alvarez. First pitch to Jeremy Pena, pops him up. Rodden is there, and that is 2 away. And we've already walked Alvarez, not intentionally once. I wouldn't mind walking him here. Again, you're not going to walk a guy, and 4 at-bats, in every game, in every series. But I wouldn't mind walking him once or twice every game we play him, especially when he's going to be the American League MVP. But Hancock gets a pitch inside, and Yordan gets greedy in his swings. And Julio is there, and that is out number 3. Good pitch there by Hancock, and I was kind of shocked that Jordan took the bait, but we'll take it, and that is out number 3. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez. And again, when Julio plays, we actually have a chance to win. When Julio doesn't play, it feels like it's almost impossible to win, let alone compete. Great job there by Julio Rodriguez. He can do offense, he can do defense, and that's why I love Julio and Cole Clutch Young. All right, let's go to the top of the 3rd inning and see if we can make up for that run that we gave up in that Christian Vasquez solo dinger moments ago. Next up for the Mariners, as we go to the top of the 3rd inning, DHing today, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Get the Frappuccinos and pasta out, baby. Batting second, 1-for-1 with a run. Center fielder with a single to get the party started early on, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, 1-for-1 with a run. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Tried in setup. Let's go, M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 38 subs to go to 24,600. Still looking for our first dono on our dono train to get us started. And let's see where we're at on the likes with 122 in the room. We should be in that 60 to 70 range. We are at 58. We're almost there, 42 to go. Altuve reached on an infield single to the shortstop, scoring Jordan Alvarez, 1-0 Houston. Young reached on an infield single to the pitcher. Julio scored, making it 1-1. Then Robles tripled the right. Naylor scoring and Young scoring on the play, which was incredible. 3-1 Mariners. Donovan singled to right, scoring Robles from third. 4-1 Mariners. And then we just saw Christian Vasquez with a solo dinger to left, 361 feet, and that made it 4-2. So, again, a very exciting start to this game, just like yesterday between the Mariners and the Astros. First pitch to Dom, and pops it up into shallow center. Varsho is there, and that is one away. Want to see Dom be a little bit more patient in the box. One up and one down. Sean in the building, what's good? From one dog father to another, I salute you. Next up in the 4-hole, center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who got the party started for us. And on deck is Josh Naylor. Let's go, M's. Try dance up. First pitch to Julio with the sweeper, 81 miles an hour on the corner, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away with the sweeper, 81 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. I mean, any game that we win, I mean, considering on how tough it's been. I mean, comeback victories are usually the sweetest, you know, when you're just getting blasted and then you come back and win. Like that one game with Wu, where he gave up like 6-7 runs early on within the first 2 to 3 innings, and then we ended up coming back and winning that game like 9-7 after being down like 6-7-0. That was pretty big. And a little dribbler towards third, throw to first. Toe tap on the back there, and that is 2 up and 2 down. You know, but honestly, any victory that we get is, you know, going to be special to me. You know, but the ones that we end up getting blasted early on and come back, I think those are usually the most memorable. Next up is Josh Naylor. First pitch to Naylor from Wesneski is high and away. 78 miles an hour with the sweeper, 1-0 count. One 0 pitch, popped up and out of play. Sinker 93 miles an hour going behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 3rd inning, 4-2 Seattle. Try dance up. Let's go, Elms. go, Nails. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, our regulars, our mods, and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Appreciate you guys very, very much. 1-1 pitch, high and inside, four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike from Wesneski to Josh Naylor. Two 2-1 pitch, and hard hit ball by Naylor towards first base, but out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Naylor. I think they need to get Josh Naylor a batting helmet that actually fits. It looks like it's a size too big. I mean, it always seems to fall off his head on hard swings, and it's always kind of moving around. And there's like padding in there and whatnot, but, you know, maybe needs to find one that still has the face guard, you know, but maybe one size smaller. 2-2 pitch. Low and into the dirt. Changeup, 87 miles an hour missing there by Hayden Wesneski. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Josh Naylor. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Three-two pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Naylor, and that is out number 3. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 3rd inning and see who's up next here for the Stros. Next up for the Stros in the 3-hole, third baseman Isaac Paredes. Batting second in the 4-hole, center fielder 1-for-1, the former Blue Jay, Dalton Varsho. And batting third, 1-for-1 with an RBI, second baseman Jose Altuve. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40-plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. He's retiring out of the radio booth after this season. So we want to dedicate every stream this season to the one, the only, Rick Riz. We love you. 38 subs to go to 24,600. Less than 500 to go to get to 25,000. Very exciting. 6.2 to 6.3 million views, and the next goal will be 7 million views, then 8, 9, and 10. And again, we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train to get us going. And let's see where we are at on the likes, how close we are to 100. And we're at 64 likes, 36 to 100. Four runs, 5 hits already for the Mariners. I love it. You know, and especially when you have a devastating loss, you know, there's times where we don't recover for 2, 3, 4, 5 games afterwards, but not today. You know, after, you know, coming back from 5-2, and then obviously the game being tied 5-5, and then us taking the 7-5 lead, and eventually we ended up giving up 5 and losing 10-7. You know, we put up 4 runs already within the first 2 innings. And again, we just need the pitching, you know, to do their job. And hopefully Hancock will not give up any more runs. And hopefully the bullpen will be clean as it was yesterday, besides Andres Munoz. You got to think all those runs were giving up by only 2 people, Kirby and Mooney, which is very rare, you know, for only 2 guys to give up that many. But you know, this is you know, the Mariners, so you don't really know what version you're going to get. Hell, we ended up beating the Yankees, you know, a couple days ago with a 1-0 victory with a Weston Wilson solo dinger. So this team is very unpredictable, to say the least. First pitch to Paredes is in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Sean getting us started with the Doggo Dad Dono, Trident's up, and one of our biggest supporters on the channel day in and day out. And again, I couldn't do it without you. It really does mean a lot for me and Paisley to make sure I can continue doing this stream and taking care of her to the best of my ability. The official Doggo Dad Dono, go M's, Trident's up, and Sean's got 3 rescue dogs and a cat. And, you know, I only have, you know, 1, obviously, with Paisley. So, again, you know, salute to you. And, you know, it takes a real special individual, you know, whether you're male or female, to go above and beyond for a dog or a cat or both. And I salute you. 0-2 pitch. Curveball, 76 miles an hour going into the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Paredes. And hopefully we'll be able to get a few people to hop on the dono train like Sean. And, Sean has been very consistent, game in and game out. And again, we really do appreciate Sean, one of our big MVPs, not only today, but pretty much every game throughout the year since he's been here has been an influential piece, a positive piece to the channel, not based on just the comments, but also the support here to the Dream. Appreciate you. And a line drive up the middle ends up being safe at first base. And next up is Dalton Varsho. There it is there with the single up the middle. Come on, Emerson. Next up in the 4-hole, center fielder Dalton Varsho, and on deck is second baseman Jose Altuve. We're at 20 on the dono train with our MVP Sean stepping up. 80 to go. 0-1 pitch in there for a strike. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there from Hancock to Varsho. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Paredes with no outs. Bottom of the third. Mariners up by 2 runs. 4-2. Trident's up. Rebecca in the building. What's good? 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And down he goes. And that is 1 away. Next up in the 5-hole, second baseman Jose Altuve. On deck in the 6-hole, first baseman Christian Walker. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And I'm really happy we're not at 0 right now. We're at 1. I guess 1 would be better than 0, but a lot of times when we have a devastating loss, we play bad and score usually no runs or just a run for a few games after, but not today. We put up 4 runs in the second inning. So again, this team brings out the best in us, and some teams, do the opposite. Like when we play the Angels, Athletics, or Royals, we sometimes play down to the competition, but we always play up. Double play, throw to first, got him. Let's go. Big double play. Sit down, Altuve. Brock Rodden getting it started, and just like that, big double play. And that is the end of the third inning. Let's go. All right, let's go to the top of the 4th inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with a run and an RBI, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 1-for-1 with a run with 2 RBIs, right fielder Victor Robles, who's played fantastic in these last 2 games. And maybe he needs to be the starting right fielder for the rest of the season, unless we end up calling up Lazaro Montes, who's having an amazing year in AAA. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 38 subs to go, do 24,600. We're at 20 on the dono train because of Sean, our MVP. 80 to go. See if we can get a few other individuals to support there as well for Paisley and I. And let's see where we're at on the likes with 114 in the room. We should be getting closer to that 100 number. And we are at 69, 31 to go. Boop, Squish Bean, Ricky, Mr. Thumbs. Appreciate you. And again, when you end up having, a channel, whether it's on like YouTube or Twitch for like video games, it is about the community. You're not going to be able to do, all the things that you want to do, unless you're able to have a strong community that supports you. And, I'm proud to have, one of the best communities on YouTube for sports. And again, we appreciate every single one of you, especially the people that, not only like and comment and share and sub, but for those people that donate, you're doing the ultimate gesture, supporting someone's dream. And that's the ultimate compliment. 0-1 pitch And Cole Young with another hit, baby. And anytime Cole goes 0 for 4, 0 for 5, or 0 for 6, typically the next game he goes off. And just like that, Cole Young, 2 for 2, baby. Let's go, baby. Nice job there by Cole Clutch Young. Sometimes you got to move guys around, from the leadoff position. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. First pitch to Cal. Low and away with a sweeper. 1-0 count. Annie in the building. What's good? Cal just needs to be more patient in the box. You can definitely tell he's in his own head. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle, 87 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Wesneski to big dumper Cal Raleigh, and having that monster season and, winning the home run derby and playing in the All-Star game and the WBC and then getting hurt at the beginning of the year, been batting under 200 the whole season. You can definitely tell it's a lack of patience in the box and also lack of confidence in himself, and again, he just needs to get back to, remembering who he is, one of the best catchers, in baseball, even though this season he hasn't been one of them, with the obviously lack of hitting. But again, if he could have been a little bit more patient in the box, I think he would be batting a little over 200. Not a lot, but I think that, the batting average would have went up 30, 40 points instead of batting 160. I think he would have been batting, a kind of poor, but not like 160 bad, but a poor 200, and obviously you want to be closer to 3. At least 250 to 290 is kind of what you want to shoot for. But again, injuries definitely are a factor, but I think that mentally it's really been weighing on him, day in and day out, especially every day that goes past that he doesn't hit a home run or he doesn't get a hit. But he has been doing some pretty good things defensively and still being a good leader for our pitchers. 1-2 pitch, popped up. And again, instead of going for home run swings, if Cal adjusts and goes for more single swings, that would help the batting average go up as well. Because, at this point, you haven't really been able to hit home runs, so don't go for home run swings. Just try to get on base, And again, if you occasionally end up getting, a home run, because at this point, I don't even know if he'll get to 20. He still needs about 8 more to get to that point. So kind of feels like he'll probably end somewhere between 15 and 19, but unless he's able to hit 2 in one game, but obviously hasn't really been able to prove that he can hit in general this season. Next up is Victor Robles, a guy that's proven that he has the ability to hit in the last 2 games, and let's see if he can keep it up. 2-run triple in the second, and had a great game yesterday. First pitch is low and away, 4-seam fastball there by Wesneski, 1-0 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the 4th inning, 4-2 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Yes, they are. They're playing right now against the Cowboys. Go Hawks. It's obviously going to be a lot of backups like it is in a lot of preseason games. Some teams will play their starting quarterback a little bit and some star players, for a series or 2. And then other teams are not going to play anybody besides backups and rookies. So, but again, it's always nice when you can end up getting a victory, but also you have to look to see who's playing. And a lot of times if you're not playing any of the starters and you end up losing, you can't get too down. It's not a real reflection of what week 1 would look like if you're playing a bunch of rookies and a bunch of 3rd, 4th, 5th stringers trying to make the squad, But again, I will admit it feels good winning preseason games, rather than losing them, even if it ends up being backups. You don't want to look on the scoreboard and see that your team took an L, even if it was backups, but, it could be a little bit more justified there. Bucks ended up getting the victory against the Jets yesterday. They look good. But again, a bunch of backups. So, excited that they won, but also it doesn't really mean anything. 3-1 pitch, and that ends up being a 5-pitch walk, Robles to first. And they've cut down preseason to 3 games instead of 4 or 5, and I think that's perfect. Less injuries, and that way you can really maintain, the roster. And usually you're not going to get a lot of the starters playing until that last game. And in that last game, they only play usually for a half. And then that's kind of the warm-up going into week 1. And you're not going to see a whole lot of starters play in the first few weeks unless it's a coach's decision. And if the starters do play, it's usually only for like a series or two because they don't want your starting quarterback to go down with an injury for the whole year in preseason game 1 or 2. That could be very detrimental to the success of any team. Next up is Brock Rodden. First pitch with the changeup, 86 miles an hour in there, low and away for a strike, 0-1 count. And I've been impressed with Brock. You know, we just need to see if he can play defense. And obviously we know JP, is a patient hitter, but has some issues defensively. Rodden overran one ball yesterday because of butterflies and nerves, but came up with some pretty big hits. Seems like he's a better hitter than JP, at least early on. But again, we'll see when JP comes back if he overtakes Rodden or if they decide to stick with Rodden for the rest of the year or if they kind of flip-flop Rodden and JP from, game to game. And obviously we know Colt Emerson got sent down to AAA and obviously is on the injured list, so we may not see Colt Emerson until next year. And it also depends if he has surgery or not. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Sweeper missing there by Wesneski. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 4-2 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And if you want to do updates, Jace, on the Hawks game, if you're watching that as well, feel free to type in those updates in the chat for any of the Hawks fans in the building. Even if it is preseason. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Rodden tries to get a piece and can't, and that is 2 away. Wesneski, 2-0 record with a 3.86 ERA. Down goes Brock, and I'm happy that he played well, so we already have a photo of him. Next up is Brandon Donovan. Clean shaven, shaved off the beard, tried to get the good vibes going, and so far it's working. I mean, it's not No Shave November, so. And first pitch is popped up and out of play. But definitely looks like a different player. If you didn't look at the number, you might not recognize Brendan Donovan without the beard. Because that's pretty much all we've seen him, besides recently where he shaved it off. Kind of gives you more Cole Young, Colt Emerson vibes with the clean-shaven look. 0-1 pitch. Low and away. Well, the Broncos have the number 1 offensive line in football. So, not only through PFF, but through a lot of other outlets and whatnot. And their defense is going to be one of the best. It's really about, can Bo Nix, stay healthy, and can he get enough running back, wide receiver, and tight end help so he can actually take it to the next level. And honestly, if Bo Nix didn't get hurt, they probably would have made the Super Bowl over New England. And obviously with him getting hurt, you can't really win that game against Drake May in New England and whatnot. But I think if Nix would have been healthy, that team looked a little bit better than New England. Not by a lot, but just a little bit, considering their O-line and their defense with Bo Nix. And, Nix has been able to show he can do a lot with a little, in return. So he hasn't really had the best, wide receiver, running back, tight end help up to this point, but seems like it's slowly getting a little bit better. They picked up Waddle in the offseason, so we'll see how that works out, even though he's kind of injury prone. I follow everything, as you can see. 2-2 pitch. Little check swing by Donnie. And we'll be doing as many games as possible, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. And I'll try to double dip and do Hawks games if they're on. I'll try to squeeze in a few Buccaneer games if I can as well, if they're televised. And again, we'll see how it all plays out. And we'll be doing a lot of college football on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well. And on the days that there isn't a game, like Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll just still do a football live stream, talk about fantasy football, the matchups that happened, already, over the weekend, and then the matchup coming up on Thursday. And then who knows, maybe I'll go and do a few reaction videos to highlights like I used to. It really just depends on the viewership. If I can get over 1,000 views, on the reaction videos, then I'll do them again. But if we're going to get less than 1,000 on some of them, then it's not really worth my time. But if we can get over 1,000 views on the reaction videos for me reacting to the highlights of the games, I don't mind, grinding and putting in that extra work, because I can get the sub count up, and it's a different version of me that you see when I react to the highlights rather than me doing a live stream. So, pitch fouled off and out of play. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wesneski to Donovan. Mike in the building. What's good? 3-2 pitch. And Donnie, yes, it scoots through. Go, go, go. Run, run, run. Cole Young, safe. Woo! Let's go. Woo! Let's go, baby. The bats are alive. Donnie with the fresh, clean look. And again, looking like Cole Young and Colt Emerson out there. Nice job, Donnie. And again, when Donnie first came back from the injury, he didn't really do a whole lot. You know, it's like we could count on him defensively, and he's the best option at third, you know, over Weston Wilson and JP Crawford and a few others. But with the bat, I know a lot of us are like, where is it? You know, you were batting 300, 350. But remember, when you have an injury or multiple injuries, and considering Donnie missed almost the whole year, sometimes it takes a while, you know, to kind of get back to where you were. And, you know, in the last few games, that's the Donnie that we love. That's the Donnie that we signed on for, you know, in the offseason. And just like that, 5-2 Mariners. Let's go. Pacing for 10 runs. And again, after getting kicked in the mouth, you know, in the, you know, end of the game there with Mooney giving up 5, it feels good to put up 5 already. And we're not even halfway through the game yet. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Rebecca with a 5-er. She's excited. We're at 25 on the Dono train, and 2 of our best supporters on the channel. Our best female supporter on the channel. Rebecca, we appreciate you. Go Ems. We're at 25 on the Dono train. 75 to go. Throw to first. And Donovan is safe. And I think really what the momentum started to carry is like, you know, those plays where the other teams hit it to Randy and then 2-run score instead of just 1. We were able to do it to another team for once. And not only did Naylor score, but we were able to get Cole Young right behind him, and he actually slid into his legs, but they both were safe. When you can make a play like that, to me, that's just as big as someone hitting like a 3-run bomb, you know, or a grand salami. It gives you that extra confidence that, you know, not only is your base running good, you know, but also that you're able to kind of just give them that extra jab that not only did we score 1, but we got 2 on you, where it could have been 1 if the throw was a little bit more on point. And you got to give Cole Young a lot of credit. 1-1 pitch is low and at the knees, but 5 runs, 7 hits. And what do we say every game? If the pitching is good and we get 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, we usually can win or compete. And we're already at that number in the 4th inning. Awesome. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. We got a 2-1 count here to Randy Arosarena. Come on, Randy. Throw back to first again to Christian Walker, and Donnie is safe. And I like this fresh, clean look of Donnie. I mean, sometimes you gotta shave off the bad juju. And if that ends up being a mustache or a goatee or a beard, shave that off, you know? And sometimes it ends up kind of rejuvenating a player. You know, everyone's got their little, you know, knickknacks and routines and, you know, things that they do. 2-1 pitch, low and away. You know, and we know a lot of baseball players are superstitious. I'm a little superstitious myself. You know, from not only back in my playing days when I played sports, but, you know, in general, like I usually have the same items, you know, lined up here. You know, I got a Cole Young rookie autograph, you know, Topps Chrome Black. I got the Ken Griffey Jr. bobble. We got the Trident, and now we have added the Mariner mini bat for extra good luck as Randy pops one up into deep left, back in the warning track, and caught, and that is out number 3. Trammell ends up making the catch, but not after the Mariners end up putting up another run by Brendan Donovan, baby. 5-2 Seattle. And again, there's been a number of games where we've gotten, you know, beat up in the previous game, or we've had just a tremendous, you know, just punch in the face, a gut punch, you know, and losing a game that we should have won yesterday. But to be able to respond like this shows you that this team has not given up. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see who's up next. Next up for the Astros, 0-for-1 with a K, first baseman Christian Walker, who ended up winning the game for them with that 3-run bomb in the 10th. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, left fielder, former Mariner Taylor Trammell. And batting third, 0-for-1 in the 8-hole, right fielder Cam Smith. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. We're at 25 on the Dono train because Sean and Rebecca are MVPs and typically are day in and day out. 75 to go. 38 subs to go to 24,600, less than 500 to go to 25,000. If you haven't subbed to the channel yet, please do. Show some love. And let's see where we're at on the likes. We should be getting a little bit closer to that 100 like number. We got 128 in the room. And we're at 77, 23 to go. And again, if you're a real fan, you don't give up. Things are tough. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bandwagon Mariner and Blue Jay fans where they were really good last year and they're not very good this year. And a lot of people hopped off, but it's all about sticking with your team, not only when things are going great like last year, but also sticking with your team when it's not going well and just hoping that things can get better. That's about being a fan, instead of just being a bandwagon fan when things are only good or hopping from one team to the next on whoever's the champion that particular year. So, and again, it's going to mean more to the people that are diehards because then when we finally make a World Series, it's going to really, really be emotional, and not only when we get to a World Series, when we win a World Series, since we haven't been to one. So, you just got to be able to be a great fan and stick through it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But so far, it's good today. Big swing and a miss. Christian Walker, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Walker. 0-2 pitch. Sweeper, 78 miles an hour, low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 4th inning, 5-2 Seattle. And I don't know, for me, the losses don't affect me as much as others. Because, if I was willing to watch this team go 20 seasons in a row with never even a hope of making the playoffs, what's been happening lately is not a big deal to me. And look at that, Rodden with a bobble and still getting the out. Woo! Nice job there by Brock. Bobbled it and then ended up still making the throw. Nice composure there by Brock Rodden. And again, if you're able to make plays like that, JP Crawford may just be a rotational player, which he already kind of is, but we don't know if JP is just going to immediately take over Brock Rodden. But again, if Brock can hit and he can end up getting multiple hits a game and he can make plays on D, then they may just have JP, be that rotational guy that fills in for Brock here and there instead of just JP overtaking Brock and having Brock, go to the bench. First pitch to Taylor Trammell. Big swing and a miss with a curveball, 73 miles an hour, 0-1 count. That's awesome, Mike. And I'm the same way. I've been a fan since, about 3, 4, 5 years old myself, since the mid 80s. So, when you can end up being a fan and stick with it, again, it means more, and again, like to go back even 20 years ago when we only had a couple good players and to look at the roster that we have now, we're not getting as many wins as we should, but just to be able to see the talent level that we have, it's exciting. I haven't seen a team as talented as the Mariners last year and this year, talent-wise, since 2001. And honestly, if you look at it player for player, we're probably more talented now than we were back then. Obviously, we don't have Ichiro Suzuki and some of those other guys that were so instrumental. Obviously, Griffey obviously left the year before, and it's not like we have Edgar Martinez or Randy Johnson, but just looking at the players that we have now and then the guys in the farm like Lazaro Montez and Michael Arroyo and Ryan Sloan and Kate Anderson, potentially coming up in the near future. Exciting stuff, man. Like I said, once we start getting rid of the weak links, like, Connor Joe and Ref Snyder and Garver, which we did, and then, we'll see if we end up keeping Randy or not, and then we just start filling in the roster with some young blood as well as some veterans. And I guess at this point, we're going to be talking about Julio and Cal as kind of vets as we start bringing up new guys, and it's going to be very, very exciting. First pitch to Cam Smith is in there, fouled off, out of play, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch with the sweeper, low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike from Hancock to Smith. Jesse with a 10er, appreciate you. Great photo. Shout out to Jesse for supporting. Appreciate you, Jesse. Cute photo. Jesse with a 10er. Jesse with a 10er. Appreciate you. It's always good when we can get, people to make their first dono to the channel and support and show that love for me and Paisley. Big swing and a miss, and down he goes with that sweeper, 78 miles an hour. Hancock got himself into a jam early on, but has been clean since. And let's see if we can end up adding on another run or two on the board here in the top of the fifth. I love being able to see, new people come to the channel. And not only that, people that are subbing, people that are sharing, people that are liking, the stream, chatting in the stream, and then obviously doing the ultimate thank you and showing that love and appreciation, donating to the dream for me and Paisley. So thank you so much. Every dollar counts as well. Shout out to Jesse. All right, let's go to the top of the fifth and see who's up next here for the M's. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a K, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Hit the cappuccino on the pasta out for Team Italy. Let's go, Dom. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a run, center fielder. It's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. And we could definitely use one of these any moment now. Trident's up. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run and a K. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. And Naylor's been really seeing the ball really well in the last month. Shout out to Naylor. End of the fourth inning, 5-2 Mariners. $38 subs to go to 24,600. We're at 35 on the dono train because of Jesse, Rebecca, as well as Sean. Shout out to our big three. Our big MVPs are early on. And we'll see if we get a few other individuals to hop on the dono train as well. Everything is appreciated for me and Paisley. And we're at 82 likes, 18 more to get to 100. We're almost there. Can we get 18 people to smash that like button so we can get to 100? That'd be greatly appreciated. All right, Brian King is coming out. So Wesneski is done. All right, let's go, Dom. Let's see if a new pitcher can end up, making a difference, even though based on Wesneski's pitching, we probably would want him to stay out there. I mean, we already put up 5 runs on him, but let's see if we can get something on Brian King here. He's got an ERA of 3.96, but he is a lefty, and sometimes we do struggle with lefties. But Dom proved, a few games back, where he hit 2 home runs on lefties, that Dan Wilson, probably should have went with our best players, Dom and Luke Raley, instead of doing the splits and bringing in Connor Joe and Rob Refsnyder. Think about how many games we lost with no Dom or Luke Raley. Just because someone's a right-handed bat doesn't mean they're going to hit against a left-handed pitcher. Even if the stats for Luke and Dom are lower against left-handed pitching, who do we trust? Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone overall against righties or lefties, or a guy like Rob Refsnyder or Connor Joe who couldn't even hit? So, that's the difference between having a good manager and one that is Dan Wilson. 2-2 pitch popped up and out of play. Count now is 2 balls and 2 strikes from King to Canzone. And, I appreciated what Dan did as a player, catching for Randy Johnson, the big unit, and many others. But as a manager, he's just like Scott Service. We need someone better. 2-2 pitch. Dom with a little slow dribbler up the middle. Altuve 360. And not in time. Woo! Let's go. Nice hustle there by Dom. I hope Randy is taking notes. We've seen quite a few guys run really hard to first. And again, effort and hustle, it doesn't cost anything. It's either you want it or you don't. And again, I'm happy that we have guys, that for the most part, that hustle on this team. And obviously Luke Raley is very missed. First pitch is high and away to Julio Rodriguez, 1-0 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Brian King on the mound, Julio Rodriguez in the box. Let's go, J-Rod. 1-0 pitch, and a little dribbler there by Julio. Oh, wide throw. Woo! Let's go. And I thought, oh, God, that's a double play for sure. And the throw is high. And look at that. The Astros having a little bit of a meltdown defensively. Let's go, baby. Runners safe at first and second. Let's go. And if we're lucky, we might actually hit 10 runs today and give the Astros a little payback and a little bit of their own medicine from yesterday. Let's go. Back-to-back plays for Altuve, not hitting the mark. Obviously, having to hit 360s on both of them, hard to make those plays, but probably shouldn't even have attempted that throw. Runners at first and second now with no outs. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Next up is Josh Naylor. Let's go, Nails. First pitch right down the middle with a sinker, 92 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 0-1 pitch, high and away, sweeper, 83 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and no outs. Top of the 5th inning, 5-2 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I love watching this version of the Mariners. You know, they're so unpredictable, you know, but when we can play like this, they're so fun to watch. So much talent on the roster, even though Luke Raley's out for the year. Colt Emerson might be out for the year and maybe in AAA. But again, Lazaro Montes is crushing home runs and playing great defense for AAA. Michael Arroyo is killing it. Cade Anderson is a beast in AA. Ryan Sloan is pitching well. Ace, our first round draft pick, is doing really well also. You know, batting 400-500 already. We got a bright future. Can't wait for those guys to get called up and to have that right blend of young guns and some vets. 1 ball and 2 strikes from King to Naylor. Let's go, Nails. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Let's go, baby. Griffey wants it. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle. Fooling Naylor with the sweeper. 83 miles an hour there by King. And that is 1 away. Next up in the 6th hole, my favorite player, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. On deck is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cole. First pitch, foul back to the Hancock sign, behind the plate. That's one of the best plays of the year right there. The Naylor and Young back-to-back. Sliding in at home. Beautiful. 0-1 pitch. Popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Cole Clutch Young. Come on, Cole. Let's go, Cole Clutch Young. Let's get it, baby. Definitely will be the next jersey I buy. Cole Young and then Cade Anderson. 0-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Brian King to Cole Clutch Young. Oh-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play again. 4 consecutive foul balls there by Cole. And again, anytime Cole Young usually goes 0 for 4, 0 for 5, or 0 for 6 in a rare occasion, you know, he usually responds, you know, that next game. And typically the most that he'll go in a mini slump is 2 games without a hit and then usually breaks out. But obviously having a tough day yesterday has already come up big with 2 hits already. 0-2 pitch is outside with a sweeper, 82 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cole Clutch Young. 1-2 pitch and just a little foul tip there by Cole. Count still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes from King to Young. Let's go, Cole. Let's go, Young. 1-2 pitch, little dribbler towards third. Go tap on the bag with the fielder's choice, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 7-hole, catcher Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. On deck is Victor Robles. Let's go, Cal. Cal's been seeing the baseball better from the right side than the left. So if he is going to get a home run or a hit, it probably would be from this side. Torpedo bat engaged here, going on that right side. And obviously we know the left side was his strong side last year, but he improved on the right side dramatically to get those 60 home runs. But it just seems like he's been seeing the ball better, from the right side than the left. It seems like the timing is a little off on the left, and on the right side, it's a little bit better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better. Big swing and a miss there on back-to-back pitches, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to the Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. O2 pitch from King, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the 5th inning, runners at first and second with 2 outs. Mariners up 5-2. Let's go. See if we can add on a little more here. 1-2 pitch, and Cal pops it up, and should be a routine play here in the infield. And Cam Smith comes into the right field picture, and that is out number 3. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning and see who's up next here for the Astros. We're at 35 on the Dono train, 65 to go. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, our regulars, our mods, and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Next up for the Astros in the 9-hole, catcher, 1-for-1 with a solo dinger, Christian Vasquez. Batting second, 0-for-2 leadoff hitter, shortstop Jeremy Pena. And batting third, 0-for-1 with a run and a base on ball. You're looking at the future American League MVP this season, Yordan Alvarez. $38 subs to go to 24,600. 35 on the Dono train, 65 to go. And let's see where we're at on the likes. We got 131 in the room. We should be getting close to 100. And we're at 87. We only need 13 more. We're almost there. We get 13 people to hit that like button, it'd be greatly appreciated. And once we get to 100, it's kind of smooth sailing from that point, from 100 to 125, and then 125 to 150, 150 to 200, depending on how many people we have in the room. And that helps out with the analytics, the metrics. It helps people find the Mariners, the Astros, or an MLB stream, and not just in America or in Canada, but also in South America, Asia, and beyond. All right, let's go Emerson. Emerson's given up a run in the first and a run in the second, and could have given up 5-6 runs in the first inning. Bases loaded with 1 out sometimes doesn't go our favor. And we were able to explode for 4 runs after having bases loaded with 1 out and only giving up a run. And you got to give a lot of credit to Hancock right now, moving up the ladder slightly, in the power rankings and whatnot. So Kirby slides down a spot. Hancock is going to move up a spot. Miller is still at the 5, but he could move up before the season's over. And obviously we know Logan Gilbert is our 1. 1-0 pitch, high and inside with a sinker on the corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Christian Vasquez. Jack in the building. What's good, brother? Things are going really, really well considering what happened last night. The bats are coming alive. Hancock is pitching relatively well. Gave up a solo dinger to Vasquez, but other than that, he had a bases loaded, 1 out, first inning where we only gave up 1 run, and that was kind of the saving grace. Otherwise, we might be down 5-2 right now, other than being up 5-2. So nice to see the Mariners' bats and the pitching coming together. And it's far from being over, because we know the bullpen sometimes will blow it like they did last night. But, everyone did well besides Mooney. Big swing and a miss on a 1-2 pitch. Sweeper high and away, and that is 1 away. Great job there by Emerson Hancock. Next up is Jeremy Pena. First pitch to Pena with a little check swing that goes around. 0-1 count. And I'm liking the fact that we're getting guys that haven't really been doing a lot, that are starting to produce. Guys like Brendan Donovan, guys like Victor Robles, who haven't been playing really lately, and he's played great the last 2 games. Obviously, we know Cal Raleigh's still struggling, but Brock Rodden's been playing pretty well, and everyone is really, doing their thing. Really, the only, kind of low spot in the lineup is Cal, but, again, at some point, he'll get a single here, a single there. I don't really expect a whole lot of home runs. It's a lot of pop-ups and strikeouts, but, again, we can still win even if Cal struggles. We've proven it. Pitch fouled off, low and at the knees. 0-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Sweeper 77 miles an hour, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Jeremy Pena. One-two pitch, got him to pop up. Rodden is there, and that is 2 away. And I don't mind. We didn't intentionally walk Alvarez the first time around. It was a 4-pitch walk, and then we had Hancock throw a pitch inside, and we had Alvarez pop up and pop out, and we'll see what happens here. .323 average, 36 home runs, 88 ribbies, running away with the AL MVP. There's no one that's going to get even close to catching him. And you obviously have Pete Crow Armstrong and Shohei Ohtani that are doing the best in the National League. But if you're looking at one individual that's playing the best overall, it's Yordan Alvarez. No Aaron Judge to compete with, though, this year. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Yordan Alvarez. 4 home runs this season versus the Mariners, tied most by any player with Chase DeLauder. And we know how DeLauder kind of roughed us up at the very beginning of the year against Logan Gilbert on the Guardians. .2-0 pitch. And Alvarez pops it up. And Randy is there. And that is out number 3. Next up for the Mariners in the 8-hole, right fielder, 1 for 1 with a run, 2 RBIs and a base on ball and a triple. And when Robles is getting triples, things are going well. Batting first, Victor Robles. Batting second, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Let's see if he can get a hit here today, Brock Rodden. And batting third, having a really productive day, kind of reminding me of what he was doing at the beginning of the year. 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, third baseman Brendan Donovan, and in one of his best games since he's come back from the injury. Trident's up, let's go M's. 38 subs to go to 24,600. We're at 35 on the Dono train. 65 to go. Gained another sub moments ago. Thank you so much. 37 subs to go to 24,600. And we should be getting very close to that 100 like number as we go to the top of the 6th inning. And we're at 96. Can we get 4 people to hit the like button, please? Only 4 people to hit that like button and we'll be at 100. Trident's up. Let's go M's, baby. Joshua Baez, 3 home runs. Insane in his MLB debut. That's crazy to hit 3 home runs in your first 3 at-bats and your first 3 professional at-bats in baseball. Wild. And first pitch, first swing was a home run for him. That's when you knew it was going to be a good day for Baez. First pitch to Robles, fouls that one off, out of play. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, line drive to third. And throw to first, and that is 1 away. Next up is Brock Rodden. Blanco on the mound, Rodden in the box. Another pitching change here for the Houston Astros. First pitch in there for a strike to Brock Rodden. And his MLB debut first hit was an RBI double, ground rule double. 0-1 pitch is in there for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Blanco to Rodden. All right, ends up. Let's go M's. Yeah, Robles has played great the last couple days. I mean, he hasn't got a lot of playing time lately, but obviously was in center field yesterday as Julio DH'd, now in right field. And if Victor can play like he's played in the last 2 games, I'm completely fine with him playing right field for the rest of the year. If he can bring that consistency, let alone getting triples and whatnot and RBIs, even though he hasn't hit a home run yet. And then again, eventually Lazaro Montes will be our future right fielder who is built like a machine, who can hit home runs and who can throw guys out from right field like Ichiro from back in the day. A very big physical looking, right fielder. But until that time comes, and we have no Luke Raley, so since he's out for the year, so if Robles can step up, that will fill one of those holes. And Rodden drawing the walk. Nice job there by Brock Rodden. All right, here we go. Back at the top of the order, having a great game, 2 for 3. Clean shaven, Brendan Donovan. Almost unrecognizable without the beard. Looking more like Cole Young or Cole Emerson there with the clean shaven look. First pitch is low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And it's so important to be able to have a good leadoff hitter. And I honestly feel if Donnie didn't get hurt, we probably would have 5 to 10 more wins. Just the simple fact of having him every day as our leadoff hitter. Because he was killing it at the very beginning of the year, batting 300 to 350 until he got hurt. And obviously that would have sunk down, under 300 at times, but, still feels like he would have been a 250 to 300 hitter for the whole year. And then at times 300 to 350. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Brendan Donovan. So important to have a good leadoff hitter. Sets the tone from the very start. 1-1 pitch, high and inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Brendan Donovan. Two 2-1 pitch from Blanco to Donnie. And a little dribbler over his head. Double play. Got him. And unfortunately, we hit into a double play, but we've been able to get some as well. And that is out number 3. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning with a 3-1 lead. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning after Donnie hits into that double play and see who's up next here for the Astros. Next up for the Astros in the 3-hole, third baseman, 2 for 2, Isak Paredes. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a K, center fielder Dalton Varsho. And batting third, 1 for 2 with an RBI, second baseman Jose Altuve. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, Mariner Moose, let's go. All right, let's look at the pitch count for Hancock. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks, and he's only at 66 pitches. Wow, 46 strikes with a 3.36 ERA. And considering, what happened with Mooney, even though the rest of the bullpen was great, we could potentially have Hancock pitch into the 7th or 8th inning, and that could actually help us out, and then maybe have Ferrer close the game out instead of Mooney, considering he blew it yesterday. So, if Hancock can go 8 innings and then we have Ferrer and then we win the game, that would be, really nice considering what happened yesterday, with Kirby and Mooney giving up 5 runs apiece. Velasco in the building. What's good, brother? Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, Velasco says we got there. Appreciate you guys. First pitch from Hancock to Paredes is in there for a strike, sinker, 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count, 0-1 pitch, popped him up. And again, if we can have Hancock pitch almost the whole game and then just bring in Ferrer, that could end up being exactly what we need, resting some of the other bullpen for tomorrow's game, Sunday Night Baseball, the last game of obviously the schedule on Sunday. I don't want to say night because it's going to be around 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4:10, 4:20, like these last 2 games have been. But I guess late afternoon is what you'd call it. Next up is Dalton Varsho. And Varsho with a little base knock up the middle. Rodden is there, and that is 2 away. Nice job there by Brock Rodden. And again, if Rodden can keep playing like this and, get some hits, draw some walks, play some defense, JP Crawford, we still want him to play, but again, JP may end up having to be a rotational guy instead of just immediately taking Rodden's spot. And next up is Jose Altuve. First pitch to Altuve, big swing and a miss. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And one thing Altuve is really good at is, hitting, balls that are outside of the strike zone, just kind of, leaning that bat out there and being able to get kind of one of those, cheap hits that kept that game alive yesterday. And, it's all about technique. We've seen Ichiro do that on the regular. And Altuve obviously is very good at doing the same for the Houston Astros. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Sweeper, 77 miles an hour missing. Count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 5-2 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Big swing and a miss. Let's go. Nice job there by Emerson Hancock. All right, let's go to the top of the 7th and see if we can add on another run or 2. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with a K. Time to be able to get something going. Could we potentially see an unexpected home run by Randy Arozarena? I hope so. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a K. The Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Get the cappuccino and pasta ready. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Another individual that's due for a home run. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We're at 35 on the Dono train, 65 to go. 37 subs to go to 24,600. And Velasco says we're over 100, which is great. And hopefully we can get as close to 150 before this game is over. All right, we're at 103, 47 to go. Right hands up. Let's go, M's. First pitch takes a strike looking to Victor Robles, or excuse me, Randy Arozarena, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, takes a strike looking, high and inside, changeup 86 miles an hour, no balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, down goes Randy on 3 pitches, and that is 1 away. Next up is the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. Vargas last night with the Tacoma Rainiers. It's nice to be able to see that we're getting a little bit of action out of Vargas and Brash, and we'll hopefully get Criswell back as well. You know, we need those 3 guys in our bullpen desperately. First pitch into Dominic Canzone. Little chopper towards first base and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike from Blanco to Dominic Canzone. One pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Blanco to Canzone. Yeah, from someone that used to party a lot and used to drink a lot and everything to, you know, go from that person to someone that, you know, doesn't really do that anymore. You know, it's nice to not, you know, wake up with a hangover, you know, and again, with all the time and energy that I have to put into this channel and Paisley, it's kind of nice, you know, to be able to wake up early, you know, and to be able to go for that nice early morning walk and not feel terrible. And usually me and Paisley are waking up early, 6, 7 a.m. And, you know, when you end up being a heavy drinker or a heavy partier, you know, you might not even go to sleep at that point. You might be still going. So, you know, nice to be able to, you know, do those types of things. And hopefully that's treating you well as also, Rebecca. And going in a second and hangs on to the bag, Dominic Canzone with a double. I mean, for me, I used to drink every day, and now, you know, maybe I drink once a month or maybe once every 2 months, and that's only if I hang out with my best friend. But honestly, I don't crave it anymore. Like if I go 6 months with no drinks, I'm fine. If I go a year with no drinks, I'm fine. It's just one of those things. If we go to like a Blazer game or if we go to the arcade and it just so happens that they serve a beer or drinks, you know, yeah, I'll grab maybe like 1 or 2, but it's not like I, you know, turn into a different person and then I crave it and then I have to have some the next day and then the next day, you know, so. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, popped up and out of play. And honestly, if you live in Oregon and Washington, you know, sometimes people, you know, are smokers, you know, and they like dispensaries more. And some people are drinkers. And, you know, sometimes people do both and sometimes people don't do any, you know, so, you know, some people enjoy the gummies, you know, to go to sleep and enjoy themselves, laugh a little bit and watch a movie. And, you know, others are, you know, okay being sober or, you know, maybe occasionally having a drink. So you just got to be able to know your body and, you know, understand what's going to be best for that person at that time. Pitch fouled off and out of play there by Julio Rodriguez. No balls and 2 strikes from Blanco to Julio. Congratulations, Rebecca and Sean. Pitch fouled off and out of play. And I think sometimes you got to hit rock bottom, before you're able to make a decision and look yourself in the mirror and say, I got a problem, or, this is getting a little out of control on top of me spending way too much money on this, bad habit. And if you can end up having good habits, like exercising and eating healthy, and you end up having good habits, they definitely far outweigh the bad. And again, not only do you feel better, your health is better, you got more money in your pocket for things that matter, like your pets, as well as, other things that you need to do, your bills and whatnot. So, and obviously a lot of us go through hard times, but sometimes medicating that particular way can be really, really bad. I've been there, and on top of having depression and anxiety and drinking and partying way too much. And popped up and caught, and Canzone tags up from second and gets the third in time, standing up and safe. And I think, as people, we're here to grow and to learn from our mistakes. And sometimes people don't learn, for a long, long time, and they continue to keep making the wrong mistake. But eventually you get to a point where you're, enough is enough. And then you end up starting to do good habits. And then once you start doing good habits, after like 21 days, it becomes a positive habit. And then, you end up having, these, I guess you can say positive addictions, that are going to be good for you, instead of the negative addictions that can get you into some trouble. So, but, I never thought, if you would have asked me 3, 4, 5 years ago that I would be walking 5 miles a day, 7 days a week, and putting in so much time and energy with Paisley and not, eating fast food and not drinking soda and not really drinking beer or liquor and trying to be able to be a better version of myself. And I would say you're crazy. There's just no way. But, you just got to take it one day at a time. And then once you start seeing the weight come off, and you start to not have hangovers in the morning, you start to realize like this is a lot better of a life, and it'll extend your life as well, and you'll be happier. Facts. No balls and 2 strikes from Blanco to Naylor. 0-2 pitch. Pitch is inside. Did he go? And Naylor has a check swing and goes around, and that is out number 3. Yeah, and again, I used to weigh close to 300, believe it or not. I was around that 280 to 290 range like Brooks, and now I'm 195 to 200, and I've been that way for a couple years now. Now, I have been trying to go even lower. I'm trying to get to like 185. That's kind of like my goal weight, 185, 190, to drop a little bit more. But it just seems like no matter what I do, and I'm not eating fast food, I'm eating healthy every day. I'm not snacking or, I'm pretty much doing the same routine, but I've kind of like flatlined at my levels where I'm kind of stuck at like 195, 200, unless like I go like fasting. I guess if I just don't eat any food, or I just drink water and, go on kind of more of a liquid diet, then I know I can lose those additional 10 or 15 pounds or whatnot. But it's not like I need to do that. That's just something that if it ends up happening, it happens. But, 185 to 200 is kind of, where I wanted to be, especially when you're at like 280, 290. So, and having Paisley definitely saved my life for the better. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning and see who's up next here for the Astros. Anyone that can go on a personal health journey and succeed, I'm super proud of you. Because again, depression, anxiety, being overweight, partying, being around the wrong people, bad influences. Sometimes you got to be able to eliminate those things to get better. Not everyone that you talk to is your friend, and you realize that as well. Next up in the 6th hole, first baseman 0 for 2 with a K, Christian Walker. Batting second, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, left fielder Taylor Trammell. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, right fielder Cam Smith. And sometimes it can get a little lonely, but that's why you have dogs and cats to kind of compensate. And sometimes it's better to have 1 or 2 really good friends that you can trust rather than having 20 to 30 acquaintances that you can't trust at all. That were just party, people that were around, but if you actually got into some trouble, you wouldn't be able to count on any of those people. So sometimes you got to be able to realize that less sometimes ends up being more. First pitch into Christian Walker is in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Yeah, and again, you got to be mentally strong, and sometimes we become weak, at times, but that doesn't mean that we can't get stronger, based on our good decisions, and you start to understand that you have value and you have worth, and you can have a good routine, and to stay in a good routine can change your life forever. 0-2 pitch popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 7th, 5-2 Seattle. And I never thought I would look forward to exercising. I never was a big exercise guy, besides when I was young in like middle school and high school and I played sports. And then after that, you start to realize it's harder to make friends after high school and college. And then, it's easy to kind of go down a negative path and whatnot of not treating your body right and whatnot. But, you can make the changes. You just got to be able to stick with it. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Walker. But I mean, like I said, I look forward to walking with Paisley 3 times a day, and it doesn't matter if it's rain or shine. I love being able to spend time with her. And, obviously if I didn't have her, I probably wouldn't be going as long as I am, as we get a big swing and a miss there out of Christian Walker high and inside. And that is 1 away, but that's one thing that's good for me, having a very active, high maintenance dog, that I don't have the option to be lazy. She needs to get that type of energy out there, and I'm kind of glad. I think that's why when we end up having dogs or cats, we end up having one that matches what we need at that time in our life. Sometimes you'll end up having one that will be a little bit more loving, and maybe we've gone through some pain and we need that in our life at that time. And at the time, sometimes you need to have patience. And I think that Paisley has brought out the patience in me, and also the discipline in me, to be able to make sure that I give her the best life possible, considering every day that we're alive is about 7 days for a dog. So if you have that mentality for every day that I'm alive, that's a week for her, I'm going to go above and beyond tenfold, because I know that her life is not as long as mine. And if you have that mindset with your animals, they will have a happier life too. Pitch is low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Hancock to Taylor Trammell. And we get a mound visit here by Cal. Mound visit here by Cal. And let's see how long that we can get Hancock to go. Pitch count is very low right now. It's only 81. If we can get a couple easy outs on a couple pitches here. Yeah, we're happy to have you here. And let's be real, for a lot of us, that have gone through, ups and downs, depending on the choices that we would have made or not made, again, sometimes things get tough and we want to make sure that we're here, and again, there's been some tough times where, some of us may have not been here at this point. So, you just got to be mentally strong, surround yourself around good people, make the right choices, and then good things will happen. Karma is real. Pitch fouled off and out of play. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Trammell, and it is really how about you treat people too. The way you treat people and the way that you are will reflect not only how people see you, but also for, good things happening in your life. If you do good things will happen in return. And that's just not like a Hallmark card saying, it's true. And that gets popped up. They lose the ball and Hancock gets it. Wow. How did Emerson get that ball? Everyone lost it in the lights there. Oh, they rule it dead. Damn it. Oh, it hit the rafters. I was going to say, because everyone was going in foul territory, and I was like, where's the ball? And then all of a sudden, Hancock ended up getting it. So I think this is going to be kind of a quote-unquote do-over, Appreciate you guys. And again, I'm always going to keep it 100. I know sometimes it's hard for people to talk about the tough times in their life and whatnot, and then sometimes when you see people that are, streamers and whatnot, sometimes it's hard to connect, with certain people, depending on who they are and whatnot, as that does hit the rafters up there and bounce back. But, I try to, approach every day the best that I can, and also, be that person that, you could feel that you can connect with. But, we could end up, going out to lunch, we could end up, having a beer if that's where you want to, end up going, end up chopping it up and talking sports or life or music or movies or TV or anything. So 3-2 pitch. And that's strike three, but we have a challenge here from Trammell. Wow, just ends up being a ball. We miss it by 0.1, 0.2. Ball is overturned, and Trammell, instead of strike three, ends up going to first. That was a good challenge there by Taylor Trammell, the former Mariner. It was a good frame job by Cal that sold it. And hopefully we'll be able to get this this second out here in a moment. Yeah, it's always nice to be able to have somewhere positive, where you can go every day, no matter how, good or bad things are going in our lives, where we can kind of vibe, with the Mariners. And also when the Mariners are done, I'll do NFL and college football and basketball with the NBA, with Blazers and Sonics when they come back, and the Kraken for hockey, and WWE, AEW, NASCAR Cup Series. So there will always be at least something that we can connect with. And for some people, we'll be able to connect on a number of things, considering there's not really anything that I'm not willing to do sport or wrestling wise. So if it's a good event, chances are I'm going to stream it. So 0-2 pitch and a hard hit ball towards first base and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Cam Smith. Now, it's never too late to make positive changes in your life. You can turn your life around. You can be in your 30s, you can be in your 40s, you can be in your 50s or 60s. It's never too late to make positive changes in your life. It's never ever too late. O2 pitch to Cam Smith. Low and away. Count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Smith. And they had to go up with their backup scoreboard here on Mariners TV. They had some issues with their original one with the guys in the truck. Appreciate you guys too. Yeah, I was just about to ask you, Jace, if there was anybody that scored yet. So 7-3 so far. Lots of backups, I assume, playing. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Smith. Could really use a double play here. Slow dribbler up the middle to Cole Young. Nice soft throw to Naylor and get out of the inning. 2-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Balls, 2 strikes, runner at first with 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning, 5-2 Mariners. 2-2 pitch. And that gets popped up in foul territory and out of play. Christakis with the 5-er. Appreciate you. 2-2 pitch. And doesn't go around. Lauren in the building. Trammell into second there. Christakis with a 5er, one of our supporters on the channel on the regular. And that one ends up hitting Trammell as that from first to second base there as he goes. Tried to get the double play here from first to second rather than second to first. And a very similar play that happened with Julio Rodriguez, where Julio got hit in the batting helmet, where they tried to make a double play, toe tap on the bag at first, and as they were throwing it to second base, it ended up hitting Trammell, not in the head, it looked like, but still. Lauren in the building, what's good? Yeah, so we had Altuve reached on an infield single to the shortstop, and Yordan Alvarez scored, making it 1-0. Houston, they had bases loaded with one out, and it could have been really bad where we were down 4 or 5 runs early, but Hancock with bases loaded and one out got the next 2 batters out. And then we were down 1-0, and then Cole Young reached on an infield single to the pitcher. So then it ended up going to be 1-1 after Rodriguez scored, Julio. Then Robles tripled the right. Naylor scored and Cole Young back-to-back sliding into each other, making it 3-1. Donovan singled to right, scoring Robles from third, 4-1. Christian Vasquez had a solo dinger in the second, making it 4-2. And then Donovan had a single to left, scoring Cole Young, making it 5-2. So we've had 5 runs, 9 hits with no errors. And, we've definitely been playing well so far. Lamont Wade Jr. is up next. First pitch, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. Ghost in the building, what's good? Hope she gets better. Bottom of the 7th inning, runner at second with 2 outs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Lamont Wade Jr., the former Giant. And they get the runner in between the base paths. And got him. Great defense there by Brock Rodden. And Rodden wins the foot race and tags the runner. And that was beautiful. And Rodden could have threw the ball, but said, you know what, I'll just outrun you. Great job there by Brock Rodden. End of the 7th inning, 5-2 Mariners. Man, we're just doing everything right today, especially starting from the very beginning of the game where it could have went wrong. But again, I like what I've been seeing here. We're doing a number of things right in these last few innings. All right, let's see who's up next here as we go to the top of the 8th. Next up, 2 for 3 with 2 runs and an RBI. Second baseman Cole Clutch Young. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Go for a single swing rather than a home run swing, and you might get on base. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run, 2 RBIs and a walk, including a triple today, right fielder Victor Robles. And anytime you can end up getting triples, you're having a good day. Try to ends up. Let's go, M's. We're at 40 on the Dono train, 60 to go. Need another sub moments ago. Appreciate you. 36 subs to go to 24,600. We're at 40 on the Dono train, 60 to go. And we're at 108 likes, 42 to 150. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's always going to be a good matchup when it ends up being the Rams and the Hawks or the Hawks and the Niners. So, that's always must-see TV, no matter who's playing. First pitch from Blanco to Young. Takes a strike looking with the curveball. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch in there for a strike with the changeup, 84 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 8th inning, 5-2 Mariners. 0-2 pitch to Young. And Cole with a little blooper into deep center field and caught, and that is 1 away. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. On deck is Victor Robles, who's had a really good 2-game set so far. Yesterday in center field and today in right field. First pitch to Cal. Ends up taking a ball high and away. 1-0 count. Be patient in the box, Cal. 1-0 pitch. Takes another strike. No. Takes another ball. High and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Blanco to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And tomorrow we play on Sunday Night Baseball. 4:10, 4:20 start. So it'll be the last game of the night tomorrow. Peacock NBC broadcast. Big swing and a miss right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Blanco to big dumper. 2-1 pitch from Blanco. Another big swing and a miss, high and away. Timing has just been completely off for Cal all year. Just is not seeing the baseball very well from the left side or the right. Seems like the right side has been a little bit better than the left this year, but anytime you're batting under 200 and you're, as far as qualified hitters, you're like last in MLB, not a good stat, after hitting 60 home runs last year. But I do believe he'll bounce back next year. 2-2 pitch, popped up, and that's kind of a recurring theme for Cal. Pop-ups or strikeouts, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 8-hole, right fielder Victor Robles, and on deck in the 9-hole, shortstop Brock Rodden, who made his MLB debut yesterday, and he's actually played really well, in these first 2 games. It's definitely going to threaten JP's job, as coming in immediately. So. One-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike from Blanco to Robles. Top of the 8th inning, 5-2 Seattle. 1-1 pitch from Blanco. And Robles with a little blooper into shallow center, and it drops. Man, Robles is really killing it these last 2 games. And if he plays like this, broken bat, single, maybe this is our right fielder for the rest of the year, considering Luke Raley is injured and out for the year. Good job there by Victor Robles. I'd rather have Victor Robles play than Taylor Ward, if I'm being honest. I'm not really a fan of guys coming in from other teams, really, so. But I'd rather have Victor Robles out there in right field than Taylor Ward, so. But we'll see if they rotate Ward and Robles in right, and Rodden and JP when JP comes back in a few days at shortstop, since Colt Emerson is on the injured list and in AAA. So. First pitch to Rodden from Blanco, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour, 1-0 count. But I guess it's a good problem to have when you have options. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Blanco to Rodden. Throw to first, and Robles scampers back to first just in time. 2 balls, no strikes, runner at first. Victor Robles with 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning, 5-2 Mariners. And Robles in these last 2 games probably are the best 2 games that he's played in a minute. Every once in a blue moon, he'll have a really good game, but not often. Back-to-back games where he's been really impressive. And, he hasn't played in a while, considering all the other individuals that we've had and bringing in Taylor Ward. But I think Robles runs the bags better. Robles is a better defender in the outfield, in right or in center. And if he can start hitting consistently, then that's going to be a better option than Taylor Ward. But knowing Dan Wilson, who the hell knows what he'll do. Not a very good evaluator of starting lineups lately. And Victor runs and safe as Vasquez drops the ball at home plate. Hopefully Robles is okay. Hopefully Robles didn't tweak something. Slow to get up by Victor Robles here. And Rodden on a 3-1 pitch. Back. Off the wall. Oh, that would have been a home run anywhere else. Robles is going to score. And Rodden with a double. Wow. And that's a high wall there in Houston. If that was in Seattle, that would have been Brock Rodden's first home run of his career. I mean, he hit that one way on the wall, but the wall, it's like, the Green Monster in certain ballparks, it's going to be a home run in some places and in other places it's not. But that would have been a home run in probably half of the ballparks, if not more. That was a real hard hit ball by Brock Rodden, but he'll take an RBI. 6-2 Mariners. Let's go. JP might not get his job back. Brock Rodden, my goodness. And I mean, I still like, having JP available and whatnot with his patience in the box, and we play better when he's in the lineup or if he comes and pinch hits later in the game. And there we go. Donnie with a base hit. Go, Brock, go. And another run scores. Brock Rodden. Woo! Scoring from second. 7-2 M's. Woo! Let's go, baby. Brock Rodden playing good. Donnie being the old Donnie from the beginning of the year. I mean, really the only player that's not doing anything for us is Cal Raleigh, but what's new? I mean, he hasn't really done anything for us all year for the most part, right? So if Cal's our weakest link and everyone else is doing their job and some, we'll be just fine. And eventually Cal will get that unexpected home run or single or double once in a blue moon. But again, I'm really liking what I'm seeing right now. Robles, Rodden, on top of Donnie, and again, in the past, those guys might have been weak links, but right now there are huge assets to this team. 7-2 M's, and after getting destroyed yesterday, after having a comeback from 5-2, getting it to 5-5, getting a 7-5 lead, and then losing 10-7. And another error by Pena. Woo! Let's go. Yeah, this inning is just never ending for them. And Randy Arozarena with a little single up the middle, and Pena shaking his head in disbelief. And again, Uncle Mo goes both ways, right? When things are going well, right? And you got that Uncle Mo and you feel that nothing can go wrong. That's like for us today. But then also things can go wrong, obviously, with the momentum going to the Astros, getting 5 runs in the 10th when we lost with Mooney. It's very rare when Kirby gives up 5 and Mooney blows a game and gives up 5. But again, it feels good to actually respond with games with 7 runs in back-to-back games. And this is the Mariners in 2026, not the Mariners in 2025. I'm loving it, baby. Let's go. And this will carry over to tomorrow. And if we can play like this again tomorrow, guess what? We're going to end up winning the series. And that could give us momentum when we end up playing, the Phillies and the Cubs and the Brewers and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, because we're going to need it. And then the schedule gets much easier in September. But again, if we can get some momentum, and again, if we would have won game 1, who knows? Maybe we would have swept this team. But again, we got to take it one game at a time. Next up is Dominic Canzone. Canzone pops it up. Should be a routine out here for Vasquez. And he does catch it. And that is out number 3. But not after the Mariners put up another 2 runs. Brock Rodden, baby. Brandon Donovan, baby. 7-2 M's. Crushing it, baby. The best that we've played offensively in back-to-back games in a long time. And if anyone in any fan base needed this, it's us. Again, based on how things happened last year, we needed some good vibes only, and we're finally getting them. 7 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Mariners. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Astros. I mean, usually we're on the opposite end of that scoreboard stat, but not today. Next up, 0 for 3, leadoff hitter, shortstop Jeremy Pena. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, Yordan Alvarez. And batting third in the 3-hole, 2 for 3, third baseman Isaac Paredes. Trident's up, let's go M's. And I'm really looking forward to going over the stat card of the Mariners at the end of this game. You know, we're definitely getting some really good stats for a lot of the guys. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, our regulars, our mods, everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. We're at 40 on the Dono train, 60 to go, 36 subs to go to 24,600. Let's see how close we are on getting to 150 likes before this one's over. And we're at 110, 40 to go. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let him know, Velasco. And it's nice to be able to see, you know, some of the lower guys, you know, produce, you know, compared to some of the guys that might be a little bit popular, more popular names. But, you know, getting Rodden to do what he's done in the first 2 games in his MLB career. Robles really playing great in these last 2 games where Taylor Ward kind of took his spot. I would rather have Robles. I'm not really a big Taylor Ward guy. So, you know, give me Robles if he's going to play like this. And then obviously Brendan Donovan, you know, getting back to where he was at the beginning of the year, finally hitting-wise. They got Jose Ferrer in the game. 1-0 pitch is fouled off. 1 ball and 1 strike from Jose Ferrer to Yanier Diaz, who's pinch hitting. One pitch, little blooper. Cole Young is there. Throw to first. Got him. As reliable as they come, Cole Clutch Young. There we go. Nice job there from Jose Ferrer, and that is 1 away. Down goes Yanier Diaz. Next up is Jeremy Pena. First pitch to Pena is high and away, 1-0 count. On deck is Yordan Alvarez. Time is called. We got Cal and Ferrer trying to get on the same page. Great job by Emerson Hancock. He moves up in the power rankings. Kirby goes down a spot, and you know, you got Gilbert at 1, and then we have to see what Wu is going to do in his next start. You know, but again, Hancock moving up, and you know, so right now it might end up being Gilbert 1, Hancock 2, Wu 3, Kirby 4, Miller 5. But again, those guys can move up and down, you know, from game to game and from week to week. Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow. Global audience. And hopefully we can put up another 7 runs or more in 3 games in a row. And if we're able to do that, that could really propel us, you know, with momentum going into the next series and the next series after that. Not to say that we would be able to score 7 runs each game against the Phillies, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Red Sox, or the Blue Jays. But, you know, again, we just need to be able to have the right lineups and to be able to take advantage of the right guys that are hot. And if Dan Wilson screws that up by bringing in, you know, Taylor Ward for Robles and Rodden's out of the lineup, as we have a hard hit ball into deep left, off the wall, and Randy doesn't get to it, and it rolls to Julio, and that's going to end up being a double there for Jeremy Pena. You know, and again, it's like I want JP to play, you know, but if Brock Rodden has earned a chance to play and Robles has earned a chance to play, keep those guys in, you know, keep the hot guys in. And again, knowing Dan Wilson, he'll bring in JP and Taylor Ward, and then they'll end up going 0 for 5 each, and then we lose the game. So you got to understand, you got to take it one game at a time and realize who's doing well. And, you still want to implement Ward and JP. But again, if Rodden and Robles are playing better, you got to keep them in. And hopefully Dan realizes that, but we'll see. Little dribbler up the middle. Young is there, and that is 2 away. Nice job there by Rodden and Young. Nice job by Rodden. Rodden making some plays out there offensively and defensively. JP might not be getting a whole lot of playing time, but I'd rather have JP play than Taylor Ward if we had to choose one or the other. First pitch in there for a strike from Jose Ferrer to Paredes, 0-1 count. One pitch. Hard hit ball. Deep left field. Back. Gone. And a big home run. 2-run jack. Ferrer giving up another home run. 7-4. Thankfully, we're at 7. Can you imagine if we were, sitting at a 4-2 lead and now the game is 4-4? We may not win this game. So thankfully, the offense came to play today and we're still up by 3. Next up is Dalton Varsho. On deck is Jose Altuve. We need to get this last out. We can't let them, get, multiple home runs here late in the game. We got to win this game. No ands, ifs, or buts. Bunt is shown and takes a strike. Right down the middle to Dalton Varsho, 0-1 count. One pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferrer to Varsho. And again, no one is really that reliable and trustworthy. Can't trust Gabe Spire, can't trust Bizzardo, can't trust Ferrer, can't trust Mooney as of late. Again, Brash, Criswell, and Vargas can't hurry up and get back to this team. Not to say that we won't be able to trust them either, but, it'll always be nice to have a new option, out of those 3 guys, especially Brash, who normally is our number 1 or number 2 in the bullpen. And then Criswell is kind of just the middle of the pack guy. And then Vargas is a guy that usually we'd have at the end of the game, either him or Mooney to kind of close out a game, or someone to pitch in the 7th or 8th, but again, he can pitch triple digits, but sometimes a little wild. And like Mooney, you got to be able to dial it back a little bit and hit your spots, but we got Sir Anthony Dominguez warming up in the pen. Pitch comm issue here for Jose Ferrer. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 8th, 7-4 Mariners. 2 runs for the Mariners in the 8th. A 2-run jack by Paredes moments ago from the Astros to make it 2 runs for them here in the bottom of the 8th. 7-4 game. And we just got to be able to get this last out and see if we can make up for those 2 runs that we just gave up and try to get to 8 or 9. And we got to get a victory here. Umps are huddling up here. Not sure what they're discussing. All 3 pitchers are expected to come back this month or the first week of September, potentially for Brash. So, and then Criswell could end up being end of August, beginning of September. It could be sooner than that, but it all depends if they have any setbacks or not. And now the umps are talking with Cal and Dan Wilson, not really sure what they're discussing. Some kind of pitch comm issue or something. Looks like we're finally done with the meeting with the umps and some of the players and the managers there. Ferrer on the mound. Dalton Varsho in the box. 1-1 pitch and a little dribbler. Donnie is there, and that is out number 3. Let's go. And it's really nice to be able to have a third baseman that we can trust defensively and that's putting up offensive numbers. One of Donnie's best games since he decided to shave off the beard. All right, let's go to the top of the 9th and see if we can make up for that two-run home run by Paredes. Let's see who's up next for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 4 with a run. Could it be time for a home run for Julio Rodriguez? Batting second, 1 for 4 with a run and 3 Ks. First baseman Josh Naylor, who's been really seeing the ball very, very well in the last month. Let's go Nails. Let's go Naylor. And batting third, 2 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. My favorite player, Cole Clutch Young. Trident's up. Let's go M's. We're at 40 on the Dono train, 60 to go, 36 subs to go to 24,600. Gained another sub moments ago. Appreciate you. 35 subs to go to 24,600. 6.2 to 6.3 million views. Next goal will be 7 million views. Less than 500 subs to go to 24,600 to 25,000 overall. Now let's see where we're at on the likes as we're going to the top of the 9th inning. See if we can get to 150 before the game is over. We are at 120. 30 to go. You're on it all day. Let's see if we can do it. You read my mind. Trident's up. Let's go M's. All day. Have you finished Tires Season 3 yet? Got to. It's awesome. Cade, 5.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. Lazaro Montes, third straight game with a home run, 35 for the year for Lazaro Montes in right field. Julio with a dribbler in left. Woo! And Julio with a nice single. Let's go. Nice job, Julio. Next up is Josh Naylor. Bats are alive today, as well as they were yesterday. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Nice job by Julio getting a hit in the 9th. Next up is Josh Naylor. First pitch is low and at the knees, 1-0 count. No batting gloves for Naylor. That's rare. Well, I guess they called it a strike. I thought it was a ball, but it looks like it hit the corner, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch and a little blooper by Naylor, and it drops. Woo! Let's go. And Julio hustling to third. Woo! Let's go. Runners at first and third with no outs. Let's make up for those 2 runs that we just gave up. Let's go. We haven't seen offense like this in back-to-back games in a minute. Let's go. Oh, nice. Yeah, I started Breaking Bad this morning, even though I've already seen it. You know, I watched it years ago, so I started that, and I'm watching Entourage as well. Cole Young, hard hit ball, deep right field, back, gone! Cole Clutch Young, woo! Big 3-run bomb. 10-4 Mariners, let's go! Whoa, baby! Let's go, baby. My favorite player, Cole Clutch Young. Home run number 15 on the season. And look at that. We're at 10, baby. I told you we had a chance to make up for that home run that we just gave up. I didn't assume it would be a 3-run jack, but we'll take it. Cole Young, baby. Let's go. Cole Young doing Cole Young things, being clutch as ever. 10-4 M's. Let's go. And this will be good momentum going into tomorrow when we're on Sunday Night Baseball. Back-to-back games with more than 7 runs. Let's go. And honestly, we should have won yesterday if Mooney didn't have a fucking meltdown. I mean, it's one thing to give up a run or 2, but to give up 5 is ridiculous. When Mooney has a 2-run lead, we win 99.9999% of the time. And I guess that 0.001 happened yesterday. But we forgot about it. We dusted ourselves off, and we came out like kings today. Beautiful. Next up is Victor Robles. Love me some Cole Clutch Young. Next up is Victor Robles. And Robles with a line drive deep into center and caught, and that is 2 away. And again, these are the decisions that Dan Wilson has to make. Are you going to play Ward and JP immediately when they're ready to go? Or do you keep them on the bench and you continue to use Robles and Rodden? I think it's pretty clear with the production that we put on, a good manager would stick with Rodden and Victor Robles. But again, knowing Dan Wilson, who knows? He might end up taking Rodden and Robles out, bringing in Ward and JP, and we may have those guys end up going into a slump. So, that's the difference between having a really good manager and a below average manager, is you have to make sure you know how to make a lineup card, but also you have to realize who's hot, who's helping you win, and make sure you keep up with the Uncle Mo and the momentum. I mean, when's the last time the Mariners put up a 7 and a 10? It's been a minute, right? Let's keep that momentum going. We're going to need it. Especially if we're trying to, keep pace, with the Astros and the Rangers. Let's go. No balls and 2 strikes to Brock Rodden. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Rodden, and that's out number 3. The spin-offs for Game of Thrones, The House of the Dragon, and then the other one are really good. It's not as good as Game of Thrones, of course, because that cast and that writing is incredible. I usually watch Game of Thrones once a year, as well, just like Dexter and a few of the other shows that I really, really like. True Blood, it's like I have certain shows that I'm kind of connected to. So no matter what time of year it is, I usually find myself rewatching certain shows like that also. But I do highly recommend, some of the spinoffs. They're not as good as Game of Thrones, but they're close. They're close. Some of them are actually pretty good and worth watching. So, all right, let's go to the bottom of the 9th, and I'm curious to see who's coming in. Is it gonna be Mooney after what happened yesterday, or is it gonna be somebody else like Gabe Spire? We're gonna find out, or is it gonna be someone like Rucker or something? All right, next up here for the Houston Astros in the bottom of the 9th, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a K. Second baseman, Jose Altuve. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. First baseman, Christian Walker, who had the dagger in our hearts yesterday, and they ended up winning 10-7 with that 3-run bomb at the end on Mooney, who gave up 5. Ridiculous. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and 2 Ks, Taylor Trammell, the former Mariner. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. But this has been the best offense the Mariners have put up in back-to-back games than I can remember. I don't even remember if we've done anything like this year. And it's nice to see Brock Rodden play well. It's nice to see Victor Robles make the most of his opportunities, and he's earned a chance to play over Taylor Ward for the rest of the year, in my opinion. I'd rather have Robles than Ward in right field, offense and defense, and running the bags. And then obviously Brendan Donovan, a guy that we were kind of waiting. We know the defense is good at third, but when are you going to hit? The way that you hit at the beginning of the year. And we've been waiting and waiting since he's come back from the injury. He decided to shave the beard. It looks like that's the trick. It's not No Shave November, but it did the job. And again, I'm really excited to see what happens next. And we got Sir Anthony Dominguez coming out, and we'll see how it goes. 10 runs, 15 hits. When's the last time you watched a Mariner game and seen that? Amazing. Yeah, you got to watch House of the Dragon Season 3. It's very, very good. And then the other spinoff with the tall guy and the kid, the other one, the newer one that just came out earlier this year, definitely worth watching as well. 0-1 pitch. Popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Jose Altuve. Yeah, that's very good also. Very violent, It just really depends on the mood that you're in and the type of show that you want to watch and whatnot. I mean, I like sci-fi a lot, so I watch a lot of like Apple TV, and I watch a lot of those shows on there. But sci-fi is my favorite genre, so if it's sci-fi, I'm probably going to watch it. But that doesn't mean that I don't like, comedies or action or other things. As Altuve ends up hitting a line drive and Robles dives for it, but he misses it. Hope he didn't hurt himself. And might have hurt himself. And Altuve ends up getting into third for a triple. And Robles fully laid out. Randy would never even dare thinking of laying out. And we've seen Robles make those plays in the past. And just out of reach. Hopefully, Victor is okay. But hell of an effort. And that's the type of guy that I would rather have on the team. Guys that actually try and hustle rather than a guy that only hits like Randy but doesn't, try defensively or doesn't run hard to first base. And I do appreciate Randy can hit, but he's not a complete player, and I think he's kind of a selfish player in my opinion, like it takes a lot of guts to be able to go all out for a ball like that. Julio and Victor do it, pretty often, but Randy hardly ever. And I do appreciate Randy hitting, but again, kind of a one-sided player. I'd rather have a guy that hits a few less home runs, but is a better defensive player in left field in the future. So we'll find out if we end up moving on from Randy or not, but I do appreciate the hitting this year. Throw to first off that little slow dribbler. Altuve scores 10-5 Seattle. Oh, I watch all Marvel stuff, DC stuff as well. I like animated stuff. I'm big on cartoons and animation. Any of the new Batman stuff. It really just kind of depends on what's available and whatnot. So, I'll watch Rick and Morty. I'll go back and watch The King of the Hill, the old one and the new one that just dropped. Family Guy every night, a little bit here and there. It just kind of depends on my mood, Bob's Burgers, and then anything that, ends up being like X-Men 97, if it ends up being something that's kind of new that is out. But, I try to keep up with as many things as possible. 0-1 pitch popped up by Taylor Trammell and caught by Victor Robles after making that diving play. And that is 2 away. Yeah, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That's what it's called. I think that is probably better than House of the Dragon, but House of the Dragon Season 3 is probably the best season out of the 3 seasons. I mean, again, it's not as good as Game of Thrones, but I mean, if you're just trying to get into that Game of Thrones vibe, nothing will ever be like Game of Thrones ever again. But, I enjoyed both spinoffs, but yeah, Night of the Seven Kingdoms is amazing. And it's emotional too, and I think they did a really good job writing it. And the actors and actresses they picked are amazing. And I can't wait to see season 2 of A Night in the Seven Kingdoms. I really enjoyed it. Watched it just about a week and a half ago. Binged the whole thing, and I was very impressed. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Cam Smith. Yeah, exactly. And if you actually look up the timeline, that's what I looked up. You can kind of see, okay, this is when Game of Thrones came out. This is when House of the Dragon came out. And then you're like, okay, when Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where does this go in the timeline? So it's very, I don't think super important, but it is important to kind of look up online the timeline, and then you kind of have a better understanding. But yeah, you can watch that, and it doesn't have to be anything with the House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones. It's separate, and you can still enjoy it. So. But I like seeing the timeline of, okay, especially when we have multiple seasons of a show, I want to be able to see, okay, how many hundreds of years before was this before Game of Thrones, and then you can kind of put it together. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Sir Anthony Dominguez to Cam Smith. 2-2 pitch. And Smith pops it up. Naylor is there in foul territory, and that is out number 3, and that's ball game, baby. Final score, Mariners 10, Astros 5. Let's go. All right, let's go over the stats, baby. But I thought that the writing and the actors and actresses in Night Seven Kingdoms was so brilliant. Like, it takes something really good to make me like cry or like get emotional, you know? And again, certain shows, if it's written well, and depending on who they have, acting, you'll definitely get moments where you're kind of tear up a little bit. And those are the type of shows that I like watching as well. All right, let's go over the stats here for both teams. If a show can make you tear up and cry, at any given moment, it definitely is well written. And again, pull the heartstrings. So great victory for the Mariners after what happened yesterday. All right, let's start it off with the Astros, and then we'll leave the best for last with the Mariners. All right, Brian Wu on Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow. Looking forward to that after he pitched really well on the road in his last start, even though he wasn't able to get the victory. All right, Jeremy Pena 1 for 4 with a run. Yordan Alvarez 0 for 3 with a run. Isak Paredes 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a home run. Dalton Varsho 1 for 4. Jose Altuve 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Christian Walker the screen shifted as I was reading it. Christian Walker 0 for 4 with an RBI. Taylor Trammell 0 for 3. Cam Smith 0 for 4. And then Christian Vasquez 1 for 2 with a home run. All right, now let's get to the stats that matter the most. The Mariners, baby. All right, let's see what we have. This is going to be interesting. All right, best game since the very beginning of the year. 3 for 5 for Donnie, and he shaved. So obviously, it's not No Shave November, but it might as well be. 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Awesome game. Randy Arozarena in a rare 0 for 5 game, but it didn't matter. Dominic Canzone 2 for 5. Good game for him. Julio Rodriguez 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Good game for Julio. Josh Naylor 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Another game. Good for Naylor. Cole Clutch Young 3 for 5 with 3 runs and 4 RBIs and a 3-run jack. Let's go. Cole Clutch Young, my favorite. Cal Raleigh 0 for 5 like Randy, but we can win when those guys don't get anything. Victor Robles 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. And then Brock Rodden in his second professional game, 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And the way that we're getting results, out of Victor Robles, Brock Rodden, and Brandon Donovan, keep them in the lineup. Keep Brandon Donovan as the leadoff hitter like he was at the beginning of the year. That's the right piece to have as a leadoff. And keep Robles in right and Rodden at short. I know we're going to have Taylor Ward soon, to possibly take over for Robles. Give me Victor Robles over Taylor Ward any day of the week. I could care less about Taylor Ward. We got him at the deadline. I don't care about him, right? And then obviously I do care about JP, but if Rodden is going to play better offensively and defensively, we're in a position where maybe Rodden gets 70% and then JP 30%, and for me, I'd rather have Robles 100% and Ward nothing. But if it ends up being, 50-50 or 60-40, 70-30, so be it. But you got to make sure we go with the hot hand, because if Ward and JP were playing, would we have put up 7 and 10 runs? Probably not. So again, awesome job for the Seattle Mariners after having the 5-run meltdown by Mooney, obviously, last night. Final score, Mariners 10, Astros 5. We are going to be on Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Appreciate every single one of you that liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Tridents up and go Mariners.